One. What up, folks? Once again, it is indeed your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. Glad to have you all on with me this Wednesday night. Um, it is what it is. I guess that's the best way I can say it. We're talking about the news in the era of President Trump. It moves at the speed of light. There is very few days that go by where there is not something new, something interesting, often controversial, or even upsetting even that happens in the era of Trump. Every single day there is something significant to report just about in the world of Trump. And today is no exception. Today is no exception. The whole title of this stream is going to be simply put, President Trump, is he a peacemaker or a warmonger? And I'm asking that from both angles. Obviously, President Trump has been relentlessly pursuing the Nobel Peace Prize, which certainly would not be handed down to a warmonger. So President Trump has claimed to have stopped 8 wars. Nevertheless, he's starting them as well. He is also starting them as well. So we're going to talk about, is our current commander-in-chief a peacemaker? I've got shit falling down. Or are we dealing with a warmonger? Now, I just want to discuss a few clips with you. We sometimes come with clips. Today is going to be one of those days because obviously he's been threatening Greenland, and this is not just going to be about Greenland. There's other countries involved in this, but he's obviously been threatening Greenland, and some of the officials from the U.S., I believe, are due to meet with officials from Greenland, or this may have already happened.
President Trump is doubling down on his desire to acquire Greenland, and he said today on Truth Social that anything less than Greenland in the hands of the United States was, quote, unacceptable. And his comments came just hours ahead of a White House meeting on the issue, and he wrote that the U.S. needs Greenland for the purpose of national security. The president says the territory is vital for the Golden Dome the U.S. is building, and he says NATO should be leading the way for the U.S. to get it. He added that NATO will be far more formidable and effective with Greenland in the hands of the United States. The Danish and Greenland foreign ministers will meet with Vice President J.D. Vance today at the White House.
Now, I'm going to ask the simple question. What is the purpose of even meeting with them if President Trump has already made it clear, if I don't end up owning Greenland, nothing else we talk about is acceptable. I want everything or I'm not happy. I want to own your whole country. I'm curious as to what is the purpose of even meeting with him? I mean, he's making it clear I'm not going to bend at all. You're either going to give up your whole country or I find it unacceptable. So I want to ask it to you folks. We're talking about President Trump, peacemaker or warmonger. What I want to ask you folks also is, because MAGA is overwhelmingly happy with this. I've had debates today. Some of you folks may have seen me in other debates and things like that, but I've talked to plenty of MAGA today. MAGA is overwhelmingly pleased with President Trump's international actions. So I do want to hear from you folks, and I would certainly like to speak to as many of my beloved MAGA as possible, because I want to hear, why are Trump supporters so happy with this? I mean, what is the upside versus the potential downside? I'm going to talk about it from both angles here. But yeah, MAGA is very happy with Trump making these threats. But continuing on, that's Greenland. But as I said, there is certainly more to come. It's not just Greenland. There's other nations that Trump is discussing on this stuff.
Tensions are rising between the U.S. and Iran. President Trump told anti-government demonstrators in Iran that help is on the way, as sources inside the country tell CBS News that thousands could be dead from the government's violent crackdown on protests. The president has warned Iran that the U.S. will take very strong action if the government makes good on threats to hang protesters this week, but he says Iran has since backed down.
We will take very strong action. If they do such a thing, we will take very strong action.
Now, Iran on state TV, we've all seen the picture of President Trump holding his ear after the assassination attempt. I believe it was in Pennsylvania last year. Iran posted that picture on state TV and said, next time the bullet won't miss. So Iran has made threats against President Trump as well. So these two nations are now threatening each other. This is in addition to Greenland. President Trump is now, and by the way, from what I've heard on the nightly news tonight, is that we are moving military assets towards Iran. So that would be naval assets are being moved towards Iran. I don't get how all of a sudden the citizens of Iran became so important. But once again, I'm asking the question in addition to, is he a peacemaker or a warmonger? Why is MAGA so happy with this? Why is MAGA viewing this so pleasurably? Now, in addition to Greenland and in addition to Iran, as you've heard me discuss, obviously we were just in Venezuela. Was that even a week ago, taking out Maduro? That just happened. So Venezuela has been struck. Now he's talking about anything less than ownership of Greenland is unacceptable. He's threatening Iran. As you may be aware, he's already threatened Cuba, Panama, and Colombia. What the hell is going on? I want to hear from you folks. What the hell is going on? Whatever happened to lowering the price of groceries? Because I want to hear particularly from my beloved MAGA. I'm going to certainly talk today. I want to hear from MAGA as much as I can. I want to know, how does this benefit the American citizen? Any of this? How are the American citizens benefiting from threats against Cuba, Panama, taking out Maduro in Venezuela, threatening Colombia, seeking the ownership of Greenland, and I suppose fighting on behalf of protesters in Iran? I want to know, how does the average American citizen benefit from this? And I'd love to hear your opinions on this. Maybe we're not giving Trump the credit he deserves. I don't know. Is this part of making America great? How does that work? So I want to hear from you folks. It's already happening. Look at the milk prices. It's coming. What are you saying? The grocery prices are coming down? I don't think most Americans are, by way of yes or no in the comments. We all eat. We all grocery shop. By way of yes or no in the comments. Are grocery prices in your area, in your neck of the woods, coming down? Yes or no in the comments. Are you seeing grocery prices coming down? I'm just curious to see how many folks are saying yes or no. There are some yeses, but it looks like there's more folks saying no. We're talking about taking on multiple nations before everyone is answering yes to that question. If we are indeed a country that's going to operate under the banner of America first, everyone should be saying that grocery prices are coming down in their area before we're going to help Iranian protesters, Venezuelan citizens, and others. This is supposed to be America first. Maybe I'm wrong here, and I want to hear from you folks, but it seems like President Trump is putting the welfare of other nations above us. I do want to point out also, in regards to my stance on America first, mentioning those countries, here is a post. I doubt if you can see it on the monitor behind me because it's not the clearest graphic, but I'll read it to you. It's titled, this has been floating all over social media. So if you got a TikTok account, a Facebook account, or, probably Twitter, maybe even X, you've probably seen this. It's titled, Trump becomes the first president to bomb 8 countries in 1 year. Those countries listed are Iran, Iraq, Nigeria, Palestine, Somalia, Syria, Venezuela, and Yemen. And of course, that doesn't include some of these other countries he's threatening now, like Cuba, Venezuela, and others. So we're talking peacemaker or warmonger. And how does this help the average American citizen? Keep in mind, we're chasing fraud in Minnesota right now, Somali fraud. Just figure out, take a wild guess at how much it costs every time we bomb one of these countries. Because we're talking about saving American taxpayers money, lowering the national deficit, and helping out American citizens. Every time we use smart bombs, intelligent ordnance to do this stuff costs a fortune. Many would argue that the boats blown up off the coast of Venezuela cost us a fortune to blow up, probably more so than the cargo they had on board. Oddly enough, we're not blowing up boats off the coast of Venezuela anymore. You think the fentanyl trade completely has ceased to operate after a handful of boats got blown up? We'll talk about that as well. So getting on with the program, you know how the program is ran. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone. This program is uncensored. You can be critical of anyone on the program, including yours truly. Our comments go left of Bernie Sanders to I'm having dinner with Q. Free speech reigns supreme on here. We are MAGA friendly. We've always been MAGA friendly. We always will remain as such. Nevertheless, liberals are welcome on the program as well. So looking in the comments, and by the way, tap the screen. We'll take the first caller at 10,000. Did you get my message, says the handsome conservative, about Donald Trump canceling food stamps for blue cities that have sanctuary cities? I didn't get your message, but I got his message. I did hear about that President Trump has threatened to cancel. Listen, I don't know if President Trump is trying to somehow, some way become the minister of misery, but he certainly likes to make people pay. He certainly likes to punish people. I would probably say, as opposed to president, we'd call him the minister of misery. He is always talking about doing something that is harmful to somebody. I don't get it, but he is talking about targeting sanctuary cities. I get the counter argument that sanctuary cities goes against our immigration laws. So if a city is violating the law, something has to be done to restore law and order. I don't know if that feat should include canceling food stamp assistance to everybody in town. If you have a mayor that has a sanctuary city and you are a single mother with 3 children, should you pay the price for what the mayor is doing? I think the targeting is misplaced on that. I think that when Trump says that if they lose in the midterms, he could be impeached, it's stuff like that. I mean, you're hurting innocent children, innocent dependent families with children that are American citizens, because perhaps you don't like what Governor Tim Walz or Mayor Fry is doing in regards to having a sanctuary city. So you're going to punish all the Americans in that town too. I don't know if that is something that would be viewed as legal and legitimate if Congress suddenly became Democrat. So we'll talk about that. Anyway, looking in the comments here, from what I heard, the bill has already been signed. Yeah, well, like I said, we'll see what happens if the midterms go the other way. Sanctuary city just means police won't assist ICE. That's it. Well, according to Trump, sanctuary cities mean you're getting free access to federal care, like welfare and stuff like that, and healthcare and all of that. He would have to prove that. But the Trump administration suggests that if you have a sanctuary city, they're getting a lot more help than just simply the police not working with ICE. Some even have suggested that in sanctuary cities, undocumented residents can vote. Take it as you may. That is what they're saying. He is making motivated voters. I believe that. I absolutely believe it's going to be one of the most motivated midterms we've ever seen. I support Trump 100%. I'm 60 years old. I've worked my whole life. I've never taken the government any assistance, not ever during COVID. Well, that is admirable of you, but I guess I would ask, I'm having a hard time reading the name, but I guess I would ask, if somebody falls flat on their face, Dan Groden, if somebody falls flat on their face, should there be no assistance available for them? Let me know. We claim to be a Christian country. Let me go straight to the box. Are we at 10,000? Tap the screen, get the lights on up, and we'll start out with Jeremy. Good evening, Jeremy. Welcome to the program. Peacemaker or warmonger? Jeremy, what say you?
I think that he has some tendencies to like just solve things with military action. But here's what I will say: free Iran. Fuck everyone who's saying like, "Oh, it's not America first." Shut the fuck up.
Wait a minute, free. So we suddenly care about the Iranian citizens all of a sudden?
Yes. Oh my God, there are so many. See. Here's the thing: I've always been America first, but not America only. America only is not the same thing as America first.
But what is he
America
doing?
First means that we prioritize ourselves first.
Okay, well, let me.
If there was ever a country, hold on, Tim. I really want to make my case here, okay? I do want to hear what you have to say, but I really want to make my case here. If there was ever a country where there was a good case for helping them out, it would be Iran. Now, I would personally say that I hope the Iranian people do it without the U.S.'s help and they oust the Ayatollah. Okay, but Iran is one of the few countries in the world where I will say,
why Iran? What's so special about Iran? Why Iran?
Okay, here's why. Number one, do you know like what Iran was like before the Ayatollah and the Islamic Revolution?
Yeah, like Cuba. The same way Cuba was, the same way Venezuela was. They were better countries favorable to us.
Yes, and not just favorable to us, but favorable to their own citizens. Iran is one of the countries that has one of the largest Christian minorities in the world, in the Islamic world.
What is that? So what do we know? Saving Christians now?
Why not? Why not? I don't understand. Why do you hate Christians or something? What the
No,
fuck?
I don't. I thought this was separation of church and state. So are we going to save any Muslims while we're at it?
The Muslims in those nations are the majority. They don't need saving. In fact, in Iran, it is a theocracy. It is an Islamic theocracy. You are not allowed to convert away from Christianity. Sorry, you are not allowed to convert away from Islam to Christianity.
How is that any of our business, though? Do we go around the world helping oppressed people by force? I mean, you realize how many people are being oppressed in some way or another in various countries around this planet? I mean, is that going to be our job to go? And I do want to ask you this. When do we get to the part about taking care of Americans? How does this, what you're suggesting is a good idea for Iran, how does that help the average American citizen struggling to pay grocery bills?
You know what OPEC is, right?
Yeah, the old giants.
The oil cartel. What makes a cartel, Tim?
I don't know.
What makes a cartel is where in a specific industry, all the giants of that industry work together to fix the price of a commodity or some kind of product.
And you don't think if we start owning Venezuelan oil and Greenland resources, you don't think we would do the same thing? We just don't have control of the resources. If we get them,
No.
We're going to do the same thing.
Yeah, but I'm saying that right now, OPEC is very adversarial to the United States. However, Iran is not part of OPEC. They're not. And if we were able to free Iran, they would be a huge benefit on the oil market. Not to mention all the rare earth minerals that they have in their mountains.
This is a cash grab. We're going to go free them and take some of their resources.
We don't have to steal from them. They could become an ally of us. And not only, and again, the only reason why I'm bringing this up is because you asked, well, how does this help Americans?
Yeah, I'm still asking.
You go.
I think that. Well, you're younger than I am. You're 30, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm going to be 30 in January.
Okay, I'm bringing age up because this is exactly what Dick Cheney, the late Vice President Dick Cheney said when we went to liberate Iraq, is that he thought they were going to be allies and happy we got rid of Saddam Hussein. That didn't work out. These people operate on a totally different mindset and playing field than we do. If you get rid of the Ayatollah Khomeini or whoever the hell's leading Iran, that don't mean they're going to convert to Western idealism.
Well, hold on a minute. Here's why that's wrong. Okay, here's why that's wrong. You want to know why? Mm-hmm. Saddam Hussein had some haters, and they had kind of an uneasy liking of Saddam. The people of Iraq kind of had a love-hate relationship with.
You don't
Saddam.
think none of that exists in Iran?
No, in Iran, They fucking hate the Ayatollah.
You think the whole country, you don't think there's any friends in Iran, you don't think anybody in Iran likes the Ayatollah? Nobody's benefiting, nobody's families are getting fed.
A very small minority of an exceedingly small minority of loyalists and religious fanatics do. But like I said, Iran has one of the largest Christian minorities in the Middle East. And a lot of women are forced to wear the hijab against their will because it's a religious theocracy, Tim.
Yeah, but that's the same argument we made when we went and took out the Taliban and how women were being oppressed. A lot of the women, because it's a religious thing, a lot of the women don't want to be freed in that manner because they believe God is telling them to maintain that position of submission. They don't want to be westernized.
That's only if you're Muslim. That's only if you're Muslim do you have to wear that hijab. In Christianity, they don't believe in that shit. They don't believe in that shit at all.
So at the end of the day, you're saying that if we liberate Iran, the average American citizen will benefit from this?
Well, yes, of course. But again, it's not just about the average American citizen.
How would the average American citizen benefit?
It's not just about the average American
No,
citizen.
but I'm asking you, we can talk about what else is about, but I'm asking you from a standpoint of the average American citizen that voted for America first, how does that person benefit?
Okay, number one, gas prices will drop significantly. Number two, we will not have to listen to no. You asked me a question, I'm answering it.
I'm listening. I'm just smiling. I'm listening. I'm listening. Keep going.
Number two, if we have an ally in Iran, we have an actual ally rather than an ally of inconvenience, like it with China, where we get a lot of our rare earth minerals. Okay, right now we're not good friends with China. The second they invade Taiwan, we're gonna have to go blast their heads off.
So your answer is that gas prices will drop and the nation of Iran will become allies with the United States.
And we'll get access to rare earth minerals.
And they'll give us access to some of their what do you want to call it? I'm not supplies, but their resources. So they're going to give us access to their resources.
Absolutely, and that's a great thing. I mean, right? Like, here's the thing. If we talk like 200 years from now, maybe 200 years from now, oil will be irrelevant. Okay, we'll have get all electric powered everything. Okay, but right now, the reality is we do need these resources.
Is that what we're doing with Venezuela and doing with? Are we just going around the world taking people's? Because that's what we plan on doing with Greenland. That's what we're currently doing with Venezuela. Are we just going around the world taking people's resources?
See, you do this thing, Tim, where you start off talking about like, well, how does this benefit Americans? Then when I give you an answer, then you switch to, well, how is it morally right? It's like, you want a moral argument or do you want a pragmatic argument?
I want both. I want both, but I assume if I asked you how did it benefit for what we did in Venezuela, you would give a similar answer. Gas prices are going to come down and we got an ally. I mean, that's what it seems like. That's what it seems like is we're going to go and supposedly liberate a country, take some of their resources, and the people are going to be happy we showed up there. So America is stacking other nations' resources on, because I assume you think taking over Greenland is a good idea too, right?
Well, I think it would be beneficial, but I don't support it.
Beneficial to who?
It would be beneficial to us, but it wouldn't be. But it would be morally reprehensible.
Okay, so you do disagree with that one at least. What if you agree with taking control of Venezuelan oil?
Temporarily, if we give Venezuela back, absolutely, because this Maduro is a disgusting human being, and honestly, I hope he gets shanked in prison because he deserves it. There's nothing I can say good about the Ayatollah Khomeini. There's nothing good about him. Okay. Is
there any Muslim country you can say something? We don't really favor most. Is there any Muslim country you can say something good about?
Islam is a religion of violence and murder.
Right. So we don't like it. Come on. I don't know. You must got a hater out there. I don't know if we don't feel connected or favorable to any Muslim country. We're targeting Iran right now, but my guess is it would probably spread. I mean, he's threatening so many countries at once. And in the comments, Dennis Calhoun, I want to ask you this, Jeremy. Dennis Calhoun said, which countries in the past have we liberated that have ended up faring well?
All the European countries during World War II. Every single one of them. We liberated them. We liberated France. We liberated Italy. We liberated Germany from Hitler. I don't think you can actually say his name on this app, but like, come on, Tim. Like,
So nothing so all of the wars we've been involved in since World War II, which is what 80 years, nothing else since World War II.
Now you're changing the question.
I'm asking. I hear you said World War II. I didn't dispute that liberating France and some of these countries in World War II was a good thing. I didn't dispute you, but I'm saying we've allegedly liberated a lot of countries since World War II. Has all of those been failures?
Most of them have been failures, but here's why, Tim. They don't have the same kind of organized governments and societies. Iraq.
But you think Iran does?
Yes. Let me explain why, Tim. Iran was a paradise before the Ayatollah came in, back when the Shah ruled, which, by the way, reinstall the Shah. Okay, reinstall the king of Iran and rename it Persia. That's the rightful name of it. It shouldn't be called Iran because Iran is Farsi for land of the Aryans, which is what the Yazidis gave it. That's what they named it in World War II. So fuck the name Iran. It's Persia. But anyway, the only reason why Iraq was a stable country before we invaded was because Saddam Hussein, and the evil bastard that he was good at keeping the two major sects of Islam from fighting each other. Okay, that would be the Sunnis and the Shiites. He was a strong man there. But the second he was gone, and we tried to install democracy, it's so good, it's democracy. Yeah. Well, what do you think happened? Of course, this went out of control. Look at Afghanistan. Okay, Afghanistan has it's one of the most tribal countries in the world. It has like 16 different tribes that are all at each other's throats 24/7. They can't even agree what color their flag should be.
Yeah, I think the issue is, Jeremy, is that certainly when you bring up countries like France and countries after World War II, I think it's a difference when you liberate countries that you actually are allies with and care about. I don't think America really cares about the Iranian people. Certainly the Trump administration.
I do.
I know you do. That's why you said what you said, and that's why I'm saying the opposite. I don't think, other than the fact that these countries we seem to all of a sudden have interest in, have a lot of natural resources, because I don't think we would be there if they didn't have any natural resources. I think we are using the excuse of liberation or doing some kind of do-good some kind of do-good tactic for these countries, but in reality, it's to get access to their natural resource. Because you notice the countries that are dealing with oppression and war and stuff like that don't have any natural resources, we're not showing up and helping them out at all. I mean, there's plenty of countries in Africa that don't have a lot of resources, that people are getting limbs and shit chopped off. You don't see the Trump administration interested in helping them out at all. But in Iran, just the protest is good enough. Well, we're coming to help you. Yeah, because they got something you can take when you get there.
Well, here's the thing. Again, you want America. You want to know how this is America first, and you want to know how this is morally good. This fills both categories. Both. Now, here's the thing. I'd be okay with us going into all sorts of different countries where horrible atrocities are taking place and using military action to stop those savages from hurting people. I'd be okay with that if we got our shit together in our own country and we were doing really well for 10 years before we went into another country. That's why I say America first, not America only.
I'm okay with America first, not America only. But when you start canceling stuff like USAID, which was valuable help in medicine and things like that to poor people, but suddenly you find plenty of money to bomb and blow up shit. So, they say you got money for war but can't feed the poor. This is literally a definition of that. We seem to have endless money to find to kill people, but when it comes to finding money to help people stay alive, we don't seem to be interested in that. Do you not see that?
I understand what you're saying, Tim. And look, I think you come from a place of like, well, let's be consistent, right? You want consistency out of our governments. You want principled government and governance over our country, right?
I will some of that. I'll say some of that. Keep going.
Yeah, exactly. Look, here's the thing, okay? Iran is a beautiful country that would be very beneficial to the American people to liberate, but also it's a place that deserves to be liberated, okay? It's a theocracy that it's even worse than, I will say it's even worse than Saudi Arabia. Because here's the thing, women and men are allowed, who want to not be a part of Islam, they are allowed to leave Saudi Arabia. Iran does not allow Christians to leave Saudi Arabia.
I think religious wars are older than dirt, Jeremy. I think anytime you get involved in a religious war, because when people believe that you're fucking with their God that's going to look out for them eternally, they are willing to die for that. And I think getting in the middle of that to protect a minority Christian population, when we know that a lot of Islamists believe in the 77 virgins and all this other eternal shit, these people are willing to die for that. So you're going to have to wipe out a hell of a lot of people to project the will that you believe, because they're not going to just fall down and become allies to a bunch of Christians promoting a whole different religion. I just don't see that. I don't care how much you're talking about allowing them to wear Levi's and take burqas off their heads. You're fucking with their God. I just don't see why America don't realize that.
I know what you're saying. Look, like you said it very well when you said that this is about like eternity, right? Eternity in heaven or eternity in hell, and people have to weigh that on their soul, right, when they make a decision. Like, and that's why even priests will not break the seal of confession, even when governments torture them, right? Okay. I understand what you're saying. Okay, I understand. However, plenty of people in Iran are protesting to the point.
There are plenty of people in America protest. There are plenty of people in America protesting Trump. You want somebody to come take him out?
Oh God! We're gonna.
Hold on. But think about it, Jeremy. There are currently, just like in Iran, there are currently protests happening all over this country. You want somebody to come take out Trump because of that?
Heavy eye roll. Oh my God! The weak ass protesters filled with nothing but a bunch of dried up pussy Karens, and it's like, hey, seriously, they like with a bunch of like childless as like infertile women, and just going like,
why are you calling them?
Stolen land.
You're calling them protesters in America weak. I just heard a pussy ass ICE agent say he had to kill one because she was about to smoke his ass. So apparently they're not that weak.
I'm just, dude, like, let's be 100% clear here, okay? Like, when it comes to the protesters in Iran, they're willing to literally get shot, not just like one Karen and through like the front of her car after she tries to run someone over, but they're willing to get like shot up by like soldiers, or as like en masse, as like in a row, without fear, or because they faced an actual fascist dictator, not like this, like, Trump's a fascist because he follows Project 2025, even though that's not his fucking agenda. It's Agenda 47. And
what's the difference? What's really the difference? Agenda 47 ain't nothing but shorthand for Project 2025. It ain't exactly anything to cheer about.
Not only that, by the way, these little wish lists that these different organizations like the Heritage Foundation put out. That's all they are. They're just little like ideas and suggestions for the president to go on. They're not a mandate. Since
when does a horrible wish list not matter because it's not a mandate? Remember Beto O'Rourke yelled out, "You're damn right, I'm gonna take your AR-15s or whatever." That's a wish list. He couldn't do that. You guys made a big fuss about that. So wish list does matter.
Yeah, but that's not Trump's wish list. He didn't say like, yes, I'm following Project 2025 right to the letter. Not only is that's okay, but again, Trump is not a fan. Most of these people have never read Giovanni Gentile. None of these people have actually read Benito Mussolini. They've never read Adolf Hitler. They've never read any actual fascist literature. I have.
I believe Trump has certainly read Mein Kampf cover to cover, because that's what it seems like we're doing, is making up excuses to go in countries and take them. This is exactly early 30s Germany, just making up reasons to go in countries that have nothing to do with why you actually going in. That seems to be happening right now, Jeremy.
Oh, please. This is nothing. Okay, this is not like the.
It's early. They would have said it's nothing. They would have said it's nothing in 1932 Germany too. Give it time. He just became president.
Okay, we'll give it time, and in 5 years, I'll be waiting for Kristallnacht.
Well, but Jeremy, you got to admit, bombing 8 different countries in less than a calendar year is significant. He's bombed 8 different countries in less than a calendar year.
My ninja, Listen to me. I'm trying to get through to you, my man. Okay.
You really had to go there with that bullshit. Wrap it up. I'm gonna give you the last word. I gotta move on. But what were you about to say?
Listen. Okay, all I'm gonna say is this. Okay, and you got lobotomites like Gangster Grandma and Mike always is trying to tell you that everything's fascist, everything's not. Maybe, just maybe, look across the ocean, look across to the Ayatollah, and ask, is that or what real fascism looks like? Because I think it is.
Well, as many hip hop artists have said, there are levels to the game. Maybe one person is a lot more fascist than another one, but that don't mean that this person is not fascist at all. It takes time to get from point A to point B. You don't become a hardcore fascist overnight in a country that's democratically elected. It takes time. I mean, hell, Hitler didn't do it overnight. It takes time to get there. And what he is doing does appear to many as a stepping stone to get to point B. Last word, I got to move it on.
Okay. Whether it be Sherbert or Mike or any of the people, I don't believe Gangsta Grandma even reads. But like when you bring up those people, ask them, how many chapters in are they into Giovanni Gentile's book? His essay, okay, known as fascism and just ask them about it. Okay. Ask them how many chapters in are they on.
Well, they'll be coming up next, but for me, I'm no chapter. To me, picking that shit up is like picking up a Ouija board. I don't want nothing to do with it. I gotta go. Appreciate it, Jeremy. Good talk.
Around, Tim. Have a good one.
You too. Tap the screen, folks. Get the likes on up to 20,000. We are now in full operation. This is uncensored programming. This is a MAGA-friendly broadcast, as it always is. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone. If you're watching us currently live on Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok, follow the program. Happen to be watching us live on YouTube, give us a sub. We're here most weeknights. This program goes left of Bernie Sanders to I'm having dinner with Q. Everybody gets to speak. I see in the comments, Clifton Davis said he is slow. Be kind to my guests. Looking in the comments, I think it says Dolpheron says, thank you, President Trump. A happy Trump voter. There, I think they said, Daniel. No, that was, I fucking saw it. But anyway, the fourth right is now, and they aren't going to get what they think it's over. You said, if you mean like the Third Reich, the Fourth Reich? I'll leave it at that. God bless everybody, but Trump knows nothing about God, says Peter Gonzalez. He knows about people named Gonzalez, and it ain't good. Fernandez says, handsome liberal, I don't know how you can do this night in and night out. Traditional conservatives cannot see the danger of their pact with fascism until it's too late. I think there's a lot of people that actually would agree with you, but I think the difference is, like my last caller indicated, they believe what Trump is doing is not fascism, and it will benefit the average American. Tim, what would have happened if we kidnapped Saddam like Maduro? Well, actually, we kind of did and handed him over to his own people. We did dig Saddam Hussein out of a hole, I believe in 2003, was it? We found him in a hole with $750,000 in cash. We did kidnap him, but we handed him over to his own people who gave him a hasty trial and the end of a rope. So if we had kidnapped him like Maduro, then he would have just came to America and remained in prison. But I don't believe Iraq would have turned out any different than it did now, because either you remove the leader by death or by imprisonment, the remaining folks that remain behind are still going to be fighting to see who becomes the next leader, which is what happened in Iraq. Is all the lieutenants are, it's a power vacuum. That would have still happened if he was sitting in federal prison or in some international country rotting away. It would have still happened. Anyway, looking in the comments, after Obama caught him right, he wasn't caught under, was it what Saddam Hussein, was he captured during the Obama administration? I thought he was captured under Bush. You sure you're not talking about bin Laden was Obama? Saddam Hussein was already gone by the time Obama got elected, if I'm correct, in 2008. Bush is the one that was responsible for catching Saddam Hussein in a hole. I think that was in 2003. Obama captured bin Laden in 2010. Let me go back to the box. We'll go to the one and only, since she was called out, Gangsta Grandma. You got called out.
Do you let An unseasoned pink baboon just call you a ninja.
I don't practice
With
martial
a
arts.
smile on your fucking face.
I don't.
You let the unseasoned pink baboon do that to you?
I don't practice martial arts, gangster grandma. So it doesn't matter. You call me
No,
a ninja.
you know what the fuck that bitch said. I'm gonna tell you something, you fucking baboon looking bitch. Say that to the wrong person. Say that to the wrong, because you won't have your fucking teeth. How about that? And a pretty ass fucking smile on your neck.
Okay.
How about that?
Okay, well, I get your point. I get the anger. I saw it in the comments.
No, because, man, damn. That's why I call you an Uncle fucking Ruckus. You let the damn uncooked, unseasoned, pink baboons disrespect you like that. And then he laughed about it.
Well, you do understand, gangster grandma, because I have a free speech program. I let you.
I know that's not free speech.
You didn't hear what I said.
That's not free speech.
You didn't hear what I said.
That is hate speech.
You're not hearing what I'm saying, though. You're passionate. You're
fucking
angry.
Stupid, and that's why I disrespect your fucking bald headed, no good for nothing, fucking Uncle Ruckus looking ass. You ain't no fucking ninja. You ain't even fucking a black man, cause you allow the motherfuckers to disrespect you. I wish a bitch would disrespect me. I wish a bitch would.
Okay.
And I promise you, I'll take it off.
Okay. Are you ready?
That's why they disrespect you. That's why. Because you allow them. That's why you're an Uncle Ruckus. That's why you are. That's why the fuck you are.
Okay.
That's why you are.
Well,
yes, master.
You done? Or you want to just talk the whole time?
I'm fucking done. 'Cause I won't take the shit. I wish that bitch would.
Okay.
I don't need that shit.
Okay.
I wish that bitch would.
Let me know when you're done. Let me know when you got it.
I'm good.
Let me know when you got it all out your system. Okay, the point I'm making is, while you're talking about how my last caller disrespected me and said, this is a free speech program. You do it every time we talk. You're disrespectful to every damn body. You get away with it.
I'm not disrespectful like that. I didn't call you that. I say my ninja. And you know that's a different. He didn't. Yeah, he's a white man.
So
he's a white man, Tim.
So because you're black, it's okay.
You smile like that, Tim, and you smile like you think it's cute. That's why they do it to you, Tim. That's why they do it. That's why we be fighting in the comments. No, go ahead. You know what? Like I said, you're Uncle Ruckus.
I gotta say that if it upsets you that I don't go ape shit about comments on the internet from people, these are people that I will never meet in person. If I don't go ape shit enough for you, then it is what it is. But I don't go wild. I don't go wild from comments from total strangers like you do. You may take it a little heavier than I do.
They disrespect you. That's why when they go on their lives and stuff, they disrespect you because you don't even call their asses out. You can call them out. You don't have to go and do like I do because you don't have the balls to do that. Okay, you're not a gangster like me. You're not a thug like me. You are a I can't say.
Yeah, you obviously would run a different program than I do. That ain't the kind of program I
would have
run.
choked his ass out. But I like you, Tim. You are a fluffy Uncle Ruckus. You could have at least put your damn foot down if you have one, or or put your balls up in it and put it down. You know what I mean? But hey, go fucking figure. I got my balls.
I suppose, gangster grandma, I am simply confident in my skin to the point where a name over the internet doesn't do anything to me.
That's not the point,
It
Tim.
is the point.
The point is they disrespect you. And you can have confidence in the word. They disrespect you and they laugh. He laughed at you.
And I'll repeat, you're way more passionate about this considering it wasn't aimed at you than me.
I don't give a fuck. That's why they walk all over you. That's why they call you Uncle Tom. That's why they disrespect you on their live and every damn thing else. You go right ahead. And I wish they would disrespect me. Okay. I wish they would.
All right, fair enough. But I'll make my point again that being disrespected by someone over the internet that I'll never meet does not denote enough of my time to even address it. I don't care. It ain't that serious like that. I'm not going to develop a headache or high blood pressure about a comment from somebody that I'm never going to see in person like that. Maybe that does affect you to a much greater degree. And unfortunately, by no fault of my own, TikTok took my last guest down. It happens to her a lot. I don't know, but the TikTok app doesn't like her, but they took her down. She's always welcome to come back on the show. That is Gangsta Grandma. They call me a man, says Shannon Power. You absolutely are not a man, Shannon. Love your content. Wow, that's bad. You're definitely not that. I'll tell you that much. Does she ever listen to herself? She's horrible, says Cedric Haney. Well, she's passionate. She's passionate about her opinion. She doesn't, she wants to be respected. I get it. I get it. Some people put a hell of a lot more emphasis on being respected. Now, I suppose if we're face to face, that comment may be worthy of a hell of a lot more physical interaction. But over the internet, really? If it was really that bad, I would just power down the device and end it. It's as simple as that. You want to get in a screaming match with somebody you never met? Anyway, tap the screen, get the likes on up to 30,000. We'll go back to the box. Unfortunately, we lost Gangsta Grandma. Clement Gaines says, I like Gangsta. We like Gangsta too. She's just passionate. And this is a program where you can bring your passion, and your fire to the topics. Looking in the comments before we move on, we're talking about whether or not our current commander-in-chief is indeed a peacemaker or a warmonger. Now, obviously, we just were in Venezuela less than a week ago. President Trump is now moving assets to the Iranian theater, supposedly to help protesters in the nation of Iran. Tomorrow, Vice President J.D. Vance will meet with the leaders of Greenland. Trump has already stated that anything less than us taking ownership of Greenland is unacceptable. Leading to the question that I'm presenting is, why meet with him to begin? What's the purpose of even meeting with President Trump or any member of his administration if he's already stated the only thing he will accept is us giving over our country? Then that should be enough from that point on to just cancel the meeting. I mean, you've laid your terms down. You're not coming to be malleable, or you're not coming to negotiate anything. You came pretty much stating you want our country. Anything less is unacceptable.
President Trump is doubling down on his desire to acquire Greenland. And he said today on Truth Social that anything less than Greenland in the hands of the United States was, quote, unacceptable. And his comments came.
So why meet with him? Why even meet with him? Anyway, because that's what they're trying to meet with him, to stop him from taking control of their country. If he's already made it clear that he won't stop with nothing, then why meet with him? They should cancel the meeting. Let me go back to the box. She doesn't want respect. She wants spect on her name. You're talking about Birdman. God bless those who bless Israel. Please send tax money and soldiers to the Middle East and be blessed. And we may not come home alive doing that. We'll go back to the box. Den Cow, good evening. Welcome to the program. Sucks. Trump sucks. Trump sucks. Is that what you're saying, Peter? You're trying to indicate that Trump sucks something? Den Cow, good evening.
Good evening. Good evening.
Hey, Peacemaker or Warmonger, our commander-in-chief, what say you?
I mean, Warmonger, they already said no other president has attacked that many countries in 1 year. And it's about to get worse. We're going to have to keep doing it.
So what about what my first caller, Jeremy, was saying, is that somehow, some way, this benefits the average American voter, that acquiring these countries? Do you see a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow? I mean, does this benefit the average American citizen, in your opinion?
No, not at all. I asked the question earlier about what countries that we've taken over or did our regime change in, what countries have come back better for us, America, and the people are doing better. I should have ended it with saying, besides what happened after World War II, because that was totally different. We were dragged into that war. We didn't even want to get into that damn war.
Yeah, that is true.
We went over there and we did what we had to do, because guess what? Our ass was next if we would have let him do what he wanted to do all across Russia.
Well, let me ask you to that when you use the phrase "our ass was next" and Alter Ego, appreciate that. Thank you for the TikTok cap. For you folks out there, help your boy reach that TikTok cap goal. From a standpoint of our ass is next, do you see the possibility that other nations may view America going into Venezuela, threatening Cuba, Panama, Colombia, Canada, Iran, Nigeria, and all? Do you see other countries may find themselves thinking, our ass is next, we need to do something.
Yes, that's why other countries are now looking to form other alliances. They cannot depend. They said out loud, Canada has said it out loud, the EU has said it out loud. United States is no longer a reliable partner. So therefore, they're looking for other people to group with to maintain, to be strong or to seek out protection.
I guess one of the things I want to ask you, as you yourself, as a former as a military man, I don't know if you ever become former because you're still connected, but as a military man, is there any possibility? Because I'm assuming there's a hell of a lot of people in the U.S. military that do not favor unnecessarily being put in harm's way so often, like with Trump. Is it possible there could end up being dissent within our own ranks?
I mean, I don't necessarily think the rank and file are going to necessarily really push back, but I can guarantee you it's an awful lot of people out there on the waters, in transit, going on new deployments for no other reason but Trump says some stupid shit about a country.
Yeah.
And trust me, they pissed the fuck off because when you heading to go somewhere that's really pivotal, that's something that's, you protecting the United States or something like that. But when they send a full damn battle group to Venezuela to extract somebody who could have been extracted by special forces, but yet you've been placed on this 6-month, 8-month cruise or mission and you ain't done shit.
Well, I hear he's sending assets to the Iranian region now.
Exactly. So now I know our resources are stretched thin because of the amount of ships we have. Trust me, some of those people are going straight from the Caribbean back to the Persian Gulf, where they was at outside of the Mediterranean.
So they just didn't get to go home at all.
But they got 1776 though.
Well, but don't they get hazard pay when he's doing that to them?
No, because those areas have not been designated hazardous duty areas. It has to be something that's done by Congress to designate an area.
So they going to war without going to war.
Yeah. Those are not. The Caribbean is not a war zone. Like they can't get money extra tax free and all of that stuff. And I mean, even though that stuff is cool, look, that extra money you ask 90% of the people out there, would you give up that tax free, couple $100 to be at home? Yeah, there ain't nobody celebrating that shit.
Do you think this could affect morale at all? Because remember, during his first term, General Milley contacted his Chinese counterpart and told him, "Don't worry, we're not going to follow orders if Trump gives us some kind of crazy, order to strike your country." Now, there's not those type of people in the military anymore. It's all loyalists to President Trump. So you don't see any dissension even in the upper ranks anymore.
No, I think, if I just try to put myself back in the situation, even though I knew we was in an uncalled for, useless war, talking about we was going to get the weapons of mass destruction. Like, when you in the middle of the stuff, first of all, you don't necessarily pay that much attention to politics because it's like, we would make sure you shut the TVs off and stuff during people's breaks and stuff because we had a mission. Whatever our mission was, that's what it was. And then a lot of the younger people are too young to really understand how much the society was just so tired after those forever wars, after fighting wars for 20 years in Afghanistan and all of that. And none of that shit helped us. People keep saying, "Oh, if we do this, it's going to help America. If we take over, this is going to help." How did Iraq help us? Even when we took the oil, it made a bunch of oil executives rich as hell. But we was over there and gas was high as fuck.
That's what I was trying to extract out of Jeremy is that how does that benefit the average citizen? Because I do believe folks who tend to lean right, they have the mindset of trickle-down economics, which the left side of the aisle does not believe in trickle-down economics. But the right tends to believe that if you do right by the wealthy and the elite, they will turn around and do right by you. So it's kind of, if you let them get access and control of the oil and stuff like that, they will in turn make sure that our gas prices and stuff drop. They will pass that down to us.
And the weirdest part about that is we have actual data and information. We know when Reagan tried to do it, that shit didn't work. We know when the first Bush tried to do it, that shit didn't work. The Mr. No New Taxes.
Yeah.
What do you have to do? Put new taxes, because you got to generate income to be able to pay for services and the military and everything. Then the son came in. What did he do? After Clinton had saved the damn economy, he went right there and spent all of the money that Clinton saved and tripled that shit
in the Iraq War. And you're right. Read my lips. No new taxes was the destruction of the H.W. Bush administration. I want to ask you something real quick. Straight Talk Commerce in the comments talked about, when I mentioned General Milley, he says General Milley, for contacting his Chinese counterpart, should have been executed for that. Would you agree with that sentiment?
What? Who should have been executed?
General Milley he contacted his Chinese counterpart during Trump's first term and let them know that if Trump orders some kind of wild strike on China, don't be concerned, they're not going to follow it. And Trump wanted to go after General Milley. I believe Biden pardoned him. Straight Talk in the comments is saying that General Milley should have been executed for that. What say you?
No, I don't know what their background is or what the context they understand that happened. Look, things are open to interpretation. One person could say it's treasonous. The other person could say he was doing his job. Yeah. So, I mean, we can go all different types of directions with that. Obviously, by contacting his counterpart in another country, which is his job to do, and assuaging them and letting them know that during this transition period, no matter what propaganda gets rolled out there, our intentions are not to go to war with you. I don't see that as being treasonous. But
I think it would be depending on how he worded it. Because if he worded it in a way of saying, I'm not going to follow orders from Trump, then that probably is treason.
Right,
but I agree, it's probably too extreme.
He said exactly what he told the counterpart.
Yeah.
And had he been lying, the counterpart would have used those words and he would have said that's not what the conversation was.
True.
That never came out. So like I said, things could be up for interpretation.
But and I agree. Well, hang on. Before we continue, I want to read a comment. This is coming from Michael Coppola. It says, God bless y'all. I am active duty Navy. I'm a submariner. God bless you on that one. And I can tell you every sailor I've talked to supports being in South America and Greenland well since the Cold War. Russia is always there. Supporting being there is not the same as supporting taking ownership of it, though. I'd have to hear a little bit more of that. Just being there is a big difference than owning it.
Hey, listen, just a little caveat. He's a submariner.
Okay.
He's been under fucking water for a long time. He doesn't know what the
Don't do that. Give a man his credit.
He doesn't know what everybody wants. He's down there with his 150 people, and he think he know how the world feels, dog. Just, bubble back down. God. Bubble down.
Don't say that. I mean, don't the submarine break through the polar ice cap? Do they not? Now, I don't know this. I'm going to plead ignorance because I'm not military, but just like in the Navy, you can be on liberty and you can go to other countries and get a few days off. Do the submariners, do they get time off like that? Do they dock that somewhere and let them go into foreign countries for a few days too?
Very few times. Very, very few times. I mean, wow. They could probably count the amount of liberty days they get on one hand, in a 6 or 8 month cruise. So I don't know, like, I don't know why he threw that out there as if somehow now he's a subject matter expert on how everybody feel. Everybody I've talked to, well, there ain't but 100 of you motherfuckers down there. And half of them don't even know. Half of them don't even know what the mission is or where the fuck they at.
It's a little different. I say, God bless you being a submarine. I think that's a cool way to serve, but it is like being a mole man. You're below ground and you are kind of out of the loop for it. Because you guys get to use the internet and everything a little bit on the boat, don't you? When you're above.
Yes.
Yeah, you don't get anything
but down
when you're
there,
below.
but down there, it's a totally different world. They don't get to just get up in the morning and go write their girlfriend or wife and a letter and just or FaceTime her or no shit like that. They can't do none of that shit.
Wow. Well, they got to treat them good some kind of ways. To pay better?
Yes.
Right.
Submariner pay is good.
Okay.
It's good, but it takes a special kind of person to be a submariner. I'll give them that. It takes a certain type of person to go down there underwater for months, weeks, months at a time, not knowing where the fuck they at, not having contact with their family. Yeah, better pay, but like I said, a lot of people would trade that pay in. But submariners, just like being the guys who work in nuclear, it takes a certain kind of person to be a nuke in the military because your life is in a bubble.
It's different. I watch a lot of submarine. A lot of those guys on YouTube. They get good food, but real quick, he responded and says 6-month deployment, 3 weeks total in port. But we have communications with the people breathing air. So I mean, listen, I'm not gonna get in between two Navy guys. I'll leave it at that. But so at the end of the day, you don't see America benefiting from all of these incursions in these countries.
I just look at our past history and try to make a decision off of actual facts and what has happened. By saying that somehow we gonna benefit after all of this, we going around taking everybody's damn resources. I can look to the future just like I can look to the past and say, when you start killing people and overthrowing governments and you start doing all of that shit for resources, we know what happens. Look at Africa. Somebody back in the day said the same shit about Africa. We got to get the resources.
Yeah.
Now they wonder why Africa is fucked up now because everybody went there. They didn't try to help the people, which we not going to help the people in Venezuela either. Talking about we going there to liberate them. We going to take their fucking resources. And Trump administration talking about we going to take the money and put it in the account for them. What in the fuck? Who believes that we going to put money in an account for them as we take their oil and then give it to them to improve their society?
Yeah, I think you kind of had the same view of this that I do, is that we're doing this to benefit a handful of elite members of our society, and everybody else is going to pay the price for it. Whether it is folks that are being attacked or folks that are being sent to war that may lose their lives in the process, or defend those assets for the elite. But at the end of the day, you and I don't think it's going to change our bottom line one bit. It ain't going to help. If anything, we may be affected by a future terrorist attack or something like that.
Right. We are opening ourselves up. We've seen this before in history. When you open up so many different lanes of argument and fighting and mistrust, somebody going to take a shot. Somebody gonna take a shot. I'm not saying I want it to happen or not, but you can't just go fuck with people. Just like you said earlier, you messing with these people, their God, who they believe in their heart of hearts is going to save them. You can't just go in there and be like, don't you want to live like America does? Do what we want. That's not how it works.
Yeah, and I don't get why we don't understand that yet. Jeremy was promoting that. You start fucking with somebody's God who's going to look out for them eternally. You think telling them they're going to have a McDonald's at every corner and they don't have to wear a burqa is somehow going to be more valuable to them than their God? It's just not going to happen. I don't know why we are on the cusp of getting involved in another religious conflict. I'm kind of with you on this. I mean, does history not matter at all in this shit?
And they keep throwing out all these different excuses. When you shoot one down, oh, it's about drugs. Oh, you shoot that down. Oh, it's about oil. Shoot that down. Oh, it's about saving Christians. You shoot that down. It's always about something else instead of what the fucking man told us it's about. We gonna take their shit from them. That's what he said. All of that shit about fucking Greenland and shit, it's all about their resources.
Well, I will say
we already got treaties with Greenland. No other country got military bases and shit in Greenland but us.
So in other words, what he is asking for, we really don't need because we're already there plentiful.
No, I'm saying what he's saying out loud, he wants has got nothing to do with protecting ourselves from from China or Russia. He wants to go get them damn resources. Because everything now is predicated on getting the resources that are required to move us into this crypto tech fucking electronic robotic world, AI world.
How do you think NATO, because Greenland is obviously part of NATO, how do you think NATO will respond if Trump carries out his threats?
It will be separated. It will be destroyed. NATO won't exist anymore. If he takes over Greenland, if a NATO country takes over another NATO country, which obviously is in their charter not to happen.
Yeah, that's crazy. So, but what about the remaining NATO member nations? Will they just idly stand by and watch it happen?
Yeah, they won't be able to stop us like militarily. That's but see, that's the thing about it. Like when you do a bunch of shit and you force shit upon people, that's when they retaliate on the back end. That's when you have people doing 9/11s and shit like that.
Yeah.
When you could take it and they're gonna smile in your face. But it's not gonna be a good thing for our country. I don't know why people think stealing people's resources is somehow the gas prices are gonna go lower. Well, hell, by the shit Trump been saying, we should already have $1 gas. He drill, baby, drill. The Saudis, is pumping more oil.
What I don't understand is MAGA will tell you there is no such thing as a free lunch when it comes to stuff like entitlements, welfare, and food stamps. But they think that you can take a whole country's resources and that's somehow acceptable. I don't understand that. You don't believe that Americans should get anything free, but you think that you can take stuff from other countries and it just works out like that.
And then be genuinely curious about why all of these people are trying to come to our country. Because we shitted on their country. They don't have any damn resources, and they're going to go to where the president is standing up saying, we got the best country in the whole world. We so hot right now.
The
hottest country ever.
He does say that. Last question. Okay, you kind of answered on you thinking NATO won't do anything immediately. What about the people in this country, like Congress and things like that? Do you think that our country will idly stand by and watch him knock down other countries like dominoes?
Yeah, we just watched it. They just had a vote today to go against that the bill that they had. They shot that down. Yeah, they gonna let him do whatever the fuck he want to militarily.
Would you now as a military man yourself, if you had a teenager around that age, 17, 18, considering joining the military, would you have any advice to that person considering joining under the Trump administration?
Yes, it would be a little bit different than the advice my dad gave me advice. He was in the military in the 60s. Okay. He was in the military in the 60s, and when I decided to join the military, he told me, "Hey, son, the military ain't no place for a black man." And he was talking from his experience,
right.
Right at the tail end of Vietnam, how most black people had to be like cooks and chefs and waiters and shit like that. He said he didn't think it was a place for a black man, but I think I don't think color has anything to do with it. I I think they're using our military as like paid mercenaries now. It's not about pride. They're not in it because, America, I want to fight for our freedom. We just there. We for hire. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
We for hire. He sent you your $1,776. You need to be happy like that guy on that submarine and go anywhere in the world they tell you to.
And be ready.
Hey, but before I go, I just wanted to say, did you see the thing with the auto worker in Detroit?
He gave him the bird. Yeah, he called him a pedo when he threw up the bird. Yeah, we talked about that yesterday. That is your president. That is your president.
Detroit. Hey, hey, guess what? So far, they did a GoFundMe. They done raised.
Yeah, I saw that. Shout out to that young man getting paid.
We can do that shit too. I wish I knew it was that simple. I'd have been went to one of his rallies.
Yeah, no shit. I was close enough that he would have definitely heard me when I went to one of his rallies. I was like 4 or 5 seats back because he pointed at me and winked. But I was on friendly terms back then. But
yeah, you could have messed around and filed a goddamn assault charge and everything, man. You fucked up, man. You wouldn't even need this show.
I gotta go. Didn't count. Thank you. Appreciate it. By the way, folks, tap the screen. Get us on up to 65,000. I'm retired military, and my advice is hell no, says Shirk 14. I'm not military, as I've made it clear, but I probably would not want I would not want any of my offspring joining under the Trump administration, because now my last caller referred to the use of our military in a mercenary format. I do believe he is unnecessarily putting people in harm's way. And I don't think it's for the benefit of the individuals being placed in harm's way. I think we're sending young kids into a dangerous environment for the benefit of a few old men. So I wouldn't want my child in that. So I would probably look at the end of the day, if your child wants to, put themselves in a better predicament for their future, because the military does take care of school and things like that. There's a lot of benefits to being, a veteran or whatever, but one of the detriments is you could die. And if you got somebody that's going to be unnecessarily putting you in harm's way, certain branches of government, you're less likely to get killed. Like, for instance, being on a submarine, for instance, you're not likely to have to deal with the enemy too much in that case. But still, I don't want my own offspring to be put unnecessarily in harm's way to benefit some old dude who's going to pocket a bunch of money and not share it with my child. So I would be against it. Anyway, looking in the comments though, MAGA Utopia says, hello. What does that mean? Maybe we should do some views maybe we should do some views the same. That I don't know what sense that makes. Dude, how about the Biden administration? How about the Truman administration? You want to talk about past it? What's the purpose of bringing up Biden at this point? He's gone. I mean, what do you want to do? Trump has been in office for a year now. When Trump was out of office and Biden was when Biden was president, a year into Biden's presidency, if you brought up Trump, it would be called Trump derangement syndrome. How is it not Biden derangement syndrome to bring up Biden now? They must miss him or something, says Short. Well, he's a good whipping boy. Just like Hillary Clinton was a good whipping girl for a long time. Listen, when Trump fucks up, Biden makes a good diversionary story. Bring up something about Biden and change the topic. Submarining is extremely dangerous. And with autonomous underwater vehicles, it's even more deadly. Yeah, but when you think about folks that join the Navy and pass away, even in accidents, I don't think as many submariners, is it? I think most of them do come home. That's the point I'm making. I don't understand the room you're in. Are you MAGA or not? I lean left of center, but I am MAGA friendly on the program. I make it clear we don't block, ban, or censor anybody. We believe that MAGA often doesn't get a fair shake in the media. Neither do conservatives and many Republicans. So when you're here, if you're MAGA, you will be allowed to speak uncensored. but my political views are slightly left of center. I don't think everything about MAGA is bad. I don't think everything about liberals are good. That's how we run it. Looking in the comments, and I see somebody say he's confused. I'm not going to stop asking. What are you asking? Kennedy literally said, okay, no, you're talking about soldiers needlessly dying, Afghan withdrawal. Afghan period is soldiers needlessly needlessly dying. You want to talk about the botched evacuation under Biden? Yeah, 13 service personnel likely lost their life needlessly, but bin Laden was not in Afghanistan. I don't know if we needed to be there, period. So there's probably a whole lot more than 13 people that needlessly died in Afghanistan because we were there a long time after bin Laden was taken out. So it's way more than 13 that died there needlessly. Let me go back to the box and tap the screen, get us up to 60,000. Ricky Michael, good evening. Help your boy get that TikTok cap go for those who are tuned in. Helps out the program. Thanks for the support. Tessa M says, I'm not MAGA anymore. Why not? Can't you add some Democrat pictures, says Scott. Can't you vote in some Democrat politicians? I respond. Because we had Democrat pictures up, here we go, upside down, when the Democrats were winning. But they're not winning anymore. So if you want Democrat pictures, vote in some Democrat candidates. We don't put people that lose. This is not a participation trophy type program. You want Democrats up, vote Democrats in. Real quick in the comments, let's get it. Date night. Real quick in the comments, no, you're talking about, so, okay, I saw that. I want to make sure I didn't miss anything here. Imagine Biden flipping off a Trump supporter. They wouldn't like it. They wouldn't like it. I think a lot of things that MAGA favors Trump for doing, they wouldn't like it if it was done towards Trump. So listen, it's not always good for the gander when it comes to the goose if it's President Trump. Mike, date night, what say you?
Yeah, man, I'm trying to wait for my food to come home before we can go to date night and get off this goddamn app. You reading shit out loud like Trump reading Marco Rubio notes.
What are you referencing? What are you talking about?
You know when Trump read Marco Rubio's note that he slid over to us and said, move on to Chevron, they got a question. Oh. Listen, you got, how many children do you have?
I got 2.
When your children were little, if you wrote something down, did they automatically read it the fuck out loud? They typically read it first before you read it out loud. This motherfucker read the note out loud, you know. And nobody, listen, they talk about Biden all the time. This motherfucker is not all there. I'm telling you.
Well, a lot of folks believe he's the best president we've ever had, Mike.
I know what they believe. I know what they believe. They also believe Superman, and they also believe that they can fly. But anyway.
So what about the actual topic though? Peacemaker or Warmonger? Do you see Trump in either category?
You're gonna be surprised. I'm gonna stop short of calling him a warmonger. But he's definitely not a peacemaker. He's definitely not a peacemaker.
Well, is he not pursuing the Nobel Peace Prize?
He was. They just told her that she couldn't give it to him. You saw that, right?
Yeah, I saw that. And I think obviously the only reason why she's talking about doing it is likely she don't want to be taken out of power like her predecessor Maduro.
But when she won it, she gave him, if you remember, when she originally won it, she tried to give him credit and prop for it. You remember that?
She did. Yeah, I remember that.
Now, how long ago was that?
I don't know, 3-4 months ago?
3 or 4 months ago. And look where we are today. Look who's in charge.
Her? So what are you saying? They had some kind of deal made up? They had some kind of deal hashed out?
Listen, I'm not saying that. I just asked the question. She was trying to give him a part of her Nobel Peace Prize 3 or 4 months ago, and she's in charge of Venezuela today. Go figure.
Well, I will say if there's one thing that seems obvious for Trump is he is transactional. You can make deals with President Trump. I mean, that's what he's done as a businessman. You can make deals with him behind the scenes or whatever. I mean, I still believe, even though MAGA disagrees with this, I believe the Qatar jet for operating a base in Idaho was part of a deal. I mean, you can make deals with him.
Well, you can make deals with him for his benefit and his benefit alone. He has to be on top of every deal. And then he doesn't honor most of his deals. We know that. I mean, he doesn't honor his deals, Tim. You know that. Stop it.
There are folks who suggest, and I seen the comment. Someone said that's corruption when you can make deals with him. Do you see Trump as a corrupt commander in chief?
He's 100% corrupt. Every time this man opens his mouth or does something, he exposes that either he's working for something else that's corrupt or he's already done it. Every time he says something, listen, you have to just connect the dots. Let me give you an example. Have you read, or not read, have you listened to the Sasha Riley audio yet?
No.
When you listen to the Sasha Riley audio, you know who that is, right?
No, explain.
The former Iraq veteran who came out with an audio about all of how he was sold by his parents into sex trafficking and all the people he named along with it.
How President Trump was sold?
No, this person, Sasha Riley, was sold into sex trafficking.
Okay.
You haven't heard it yet?
No, I haven't heard this.
Hey, it's gonna take you a few days to get through it. It's very, 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 very disturbing, Tim. That's some of the sickest shit I've ever heard.
No, now this Sasha Riley individual, this is an American?
Yeah, he was in the Iraq. He was an Iraq veteran, Iraq War veteran. He names Clarence Thomas in there. He names Donald Trump.
Oh wow,
man, listen, listen. I'm gonna say this: if anybody in the chat if you've heard it, put a 1 in the comments if you believe it's some of the most disgusting stuff you've ever heard in your life. This shit is crazy.
Somebody brought this up on the program yesterday, and I was kind of wondering what they were talking about. A lot of people have heard it. I see that in the comments.
Bro, Google it, and listen to it, and then it's disturbing. It's
so in other words, a whole lot of elite members of our society was banging this person.
Man, not just him. Man, he talks about watching people kids get unalive. Hey, it's Tim. It's crazy.
How do you get access to this? What am I Googling to find this?
Just Google Sasha Riley. Just Google that name, Sasha Riley, and it'll pop right up. It's on YouTube.
Just hours ahead of a White House meeting on the issue, and he wrote that the U.S.
I haven't heard it. I heard remnants of it because people were asking me about it, but shit, that sounds terrible.
It was one in there about putting a condom on this broom handle and kicking it up Trump's. So
in other words, Trump was playing the receiver.
Man, yeah, it talked about Trump had unalived a puppy and broke it. Oh man, it's crazy, man. It's crazy, and it's him telling these things.
Where is this person at now? I mean, that sounds like something that could be a threat to their safety.
Well, it might be now, but he's an older. I don't even remember how old he is now, but he was an Iraq War veteran.
Jesus.
It's crazy. It's crazy. I am not up here saying it's true because I don't know. I'm just telling you what he has on audio. But what I am telling you is that these Trump supporters, if they had anything like that on anybody on the left, they would believe it.
They would believe it. If it was somebody,
they would believe it. Full stop.
If it was on Bill Clinton, if it was on Bill Clinton or somebody. Is there any photos of this person?
Yeah. It's spell his name Sascha.
Yeah, it came right up. It definitely comes.
Yeah, click images.
I did. I got a bunch of chicks.
I know Straight Talk Commerce wants me to get TikTok. I'm not saying anything that's not public knowledge. I'm not saying anything that's not.
I'll certainly look it up because now you got me really curious about it. I'll look it up after the show, but I'm really curious to hear how bad, because it sounds like it's pretty fucking damning. But
now, what's going to be interesting about it when you read it, it will make you think about some things that we've talked about. You know, like why is Clarence Thomas so emboldened to
Trump, to
this
the right,
administration?
right.
He's in there.
So what is this, like a whole group of elite pedos?
Yes.
Yuck.
Yes. It ain't. Hey, listen. It ain't me saying it. That's what they saying.
I'll say this. I don't like to convict anybody without actual solid evidence, but I will say that some of these individuals have been acting in such a secretive manner that it does leave you open to say, if you have nothing to do with this, why are you hiding so much stuff? I mean, because Trump started out in his second term yelling out, "Stop talking about Epstein." Why would you want everybody to stop talking about that? That's never been explained.
And it's funny. I'm glad you brought that up. So TJ Subala, he was a Ford plant. He was a Ford employee that got suspended
for throwing Trump the bird. I mean, for Trump, no, he's the one that called Trump a pedo, and Trump gave him the bird. You talking about that guy?
Yes. He's raised almost $1 million on GoFundMe.
Yeah, Denkel was talking about that. I saw that. Yeah, I saw that article.
Now, I don't know what his political affiliation is. I don't know.
And Do you really? He leans left. If you're gonna call Trump a pedo to his face,
that's not true. See, Tim, that's not true. And see, that is where I was going. You have.
Well, I will say this: the QAnon shaman. When Trump started being evasive with the Epstein list, everybody know the QAnon shaman from January 6th. He did post on the internet that Trump is a piece of shit because of how he was handling the Epstein. So you're right; they're not all left.
What about Marjorie?
Yeah.
What about Lord Loomer? All of those people want to see this. So that's my point. I don't know if he's on the left or right, but if he's on the right, and if he was a Trump supporter, and he's raised that much money for being suspended for what he said, that's an indicator of where some of his support is right now when it comes to those files.
What do you mean?
Just like I'll say, so typically, and here's what I mean. Typically, when something happens in this country, when it's along the racial lines, like the white lady calling
the Fagio and N-word, yeah,
right. They raise money off of these things.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
If this man is on the right, that means there's people that on the right or people that support him in his position about what he said.
I doubt if much of that money came from right wing. I think so many folks.
So what if it is though?
Yeah, it's a good point. And thank you for the TikTok captor blue one. Appreciate that. No, you're right. If that is the case, but I don't know if we'll ever know.
Now, people in the comments are saying he voted Republican and he's a Republican. I haven't confirmed it, but that's some people say he is, some people say he's not. But my point is, a lot of people are not happy about him. And
it ain't when it comes to the Epstein files, though. I don't think that his evasiveness or him being elusive and less than transparent on that stuff, I don't think it's affected the mindset of a lot of MAGA at all. It's a few. But most MAGA is still on board with Trump, whether they get to the bottom of Epstein or not.
That's because they have the attention span of a mosquito, and so because the news cycle is so fast, they don't pay attention. But the minute it comes back up, Tim, they're on it, right? So that's why the news cycle is so fast, and that's why I think he's doing so many things right now. I think he's doing so many things in the news cycle to keep people off of that stuff. That's what I think. But hey,
a lot of folks believe that a lot of the wars and all this stuff is going is diversion, some type of diversionary tactic to keep us off the Epstein files. I mean, is it working? It looks like it is. It looks like it's working to me.
Well, I don't believe that they're doing it for diversion because it's all outlined. It's part of their plan in Project 2025. They're just moving faster than I think they thought they would have to because of the Epstein files. So that's what I believe.
So you believe it is a case of like what Steve Bannon once said, flood the zone.
Absolutely. 100%. They just have to move faster. This is their pivot. We got to move because this Epstein shit didn't go away like you thought it would. Yeah. Right? So we got to move because if that stuff gets out and continues to build traction, then they start losing some of their base. That's how they lost. They lost Marjorie Taylor Greene because she's seen more than we've seen. You got to remember. I
think Marjorie Taylor Greene, he lost her because he didn't talk to her. I mean, he could have probably talked to her in a manner that would have calmed her down without showing her shit. He chose to just completely ignore her and then start attacking her and then put her family and stuff in danger. He didn't leave her any other room but to dissent. If he had hollered at her privately and said, I'm working on it, I got people to protect, it's going to take a little bit of time, just could you work with me, I'll get you what you need in the end. He could have probably dragged Marjorie Taylor Greene on some, but he just ignored her.
He tried. But he tried initially. He tried to stall. He tried to drag it on. He did ignore her, but this is what happens when you have a cult. You got to continue to feed them. She was very close to him. The minute he started ignoring her, you give her an opportunity for a moment of clarity when she's dealing with her grief. Those are all the symptoms of cult members. And she had a moment of clarity. I still don't like her and don't trust her. But what I'm telling you is more people are feeling that way. They're just not willing to say it. That guy that said it at Ford, you think he said that because he's surrounded by people that completely disagree with him?
Well, considering they suspended him, they weren't big fans. And Danny Dan, appreciate the TikTok cap. Thank you. Now, I mean, I don't know what I'm from Chicago. There's a whole lot of black people that work at Ford where I'm from, so it wouldn't be a lot of Trump supporters. But where he worked at, it might be a whole lot of Trump supporters there.
And again, it could be. All I'm saying is these things that are moving in this and right now in this world, those e-files are a problem. They're a problem, Tim. They're a problem.
You know, they're a problem, but I don't know if it's a major problem, Mike. I think that he's doing pretty good maintaining despite being anything but transparent on the e-files. Even when Congress ordered they all be released by the end of December, he was able to not do that, and he's still there. I don't think the e-files are taking him down like you're indicating.
No, I didn't say they were taking him down. I'm saying that there's still a problem. I'm saying that things could happen quickly at any time with these files. I'm saying things could happen. When you listen to that Sasha Riley, you notice the right ain't even mentioning that shit. When you listen to it, you're gonna be like, Jesus.
Well, the writer is going to dismiss it as a liberal hit job. I had people in the comments. I think Straight Talk Commerce already said it's just a bunch of propaganda from the left. They're just gonna dismiss it.
Whatever. Yeah, listen. And they can. They are welcome to dismiss it. But you can dismiss it all you want. But listen to it and ask yourself, that's a pretty, again, they can dismiss it all they want.
Which is guaranteed to happen. The right is guaranteed to happen. MAGA is generally going to dismiss anything negative against Trump without a significant amount of evidence, almost to the point where Trump has to confess. If Trump says, I didn't do it, it don't matter what else is out there. His I didn't do it is going to trump all of that.
And again, that's fine. If all these people want to dismiss these perversions, these accusations, and allow kids to continue to be harmed, I told you this months ago. I'll say it again. I'm going to say this and I'm going to land because my baby's home and we going on a date.
There goes my baby. Okay, go ahead.
Baby. Yeah. Anyway, boy, we be on the same shit. They can dismiss it, but they continue to tell me that they don't care about kids because nobody would ever confess on your app. And you need to start asking this. If their children had somebody in their life with these allegations, would they wait for the verdict or would they get their kids away from them? And if they don't tell you that they would get their kids away from them, something's wrong with them. And if they do tell you they would get their kids away from them, they're in this cult. See, there's no middle ground with protecting children.
There shouldn't be. But people believe that Trump is wrongfully accused. So they have this mindset that Trump is being accused of stuff he didn't do.
But they wouldn't want him to be their neighbor with that track record.
I don't know.
And they wouldn't let their kids go over there either.
If you're suggesting that they're in a cult, if a true cult member would hand their kid over to somebody that has abuse accusations against them.
And those will be the ones that accuse it. Point taken.
No, I'm just saying. This is the world we live in. I'll let you go ahead and get with your boo. Mike, always a pleasure.
All right, man. Holla.
Good talk. All right, moving on with the program. By the way, tap the screen. We New Yorkers had a front row seat to the Trump way before the internet. We were their first grift. Damn. And they are now grifting on a grander scale. Brace yourself for impact. Well, a lot of folks believe that Trump is grifting for America. A lot of folks believe that these countries that are being invaded or threatened or conquered, as in Venezuela's case, is being done for the benefit of America. I want to ask you guys real quick in the comments. I don't like to ask shit like this, but it's in regards to my last caller. By way of yes or no, you can skip this one and not even answer it at all if it's a bit much for you, because this is a strong one. By way of yes or no, how many of you folks, shit, I ain't asking this, but By way of yes or no in the comments, how many of you folks believe that President Trump, our current commander-in-chief, actually did indeed take the innocence of a child? Yes, if you think he would do something that horrible. The innocence of an underage person, by way of yes or no, how many folks believe that President Trump possibly did something like that? There's a lot more yeses than nos. What has he done to lead people? Well, I guess I could answer that myself, but I'm just going to ask you guys, what has he done to lead people to believe something like that? Wow. When he spoke, he says, I have many options. There's no I in Team USA. Absolutely. I think he's immoral, and I think he is proud of it, says Will Brown. Yikes. There's a whole lot of people who say, yeah, that's terrible. I hope you guys are all wrong, but listen, at the end of the day, we've had a lot of lives. He has said a lot of things that you wouldn't expect to hear from a grown-ass man. Me and my daughter have sex in common, or commenting on the breast size of a baby, or telling a 10-year-old I'll be dating her in 10 years. Talking about how hot Lindsay Lohan was in bed while Lindsay Lohan was still a minor. I mean, that doesn't mean he's guilty of anything, but he has said a lot of suspicious statements you would not expect to hear from a grown-ass man. That's just my point. He said things that you would look like, dude, what? You wouldn't expect somebody to say that. So, Blue One, thank you for the graphic. Appreciate that. Thank you very much for your support. Moving on with the program, we will continue on with Travelman. Good evening. Welcome to the show. His favorite passage in the Bible is... Huh? All right, Travelman, are you there? Travelman.
How you doing, bro?
I'm doing good. I thought you sounded like you had something going on in the background. So we're talking about President Trump now indicating that we may be putting Iran in the crosshairs. So we're at next after Venezuela. So we're asking, is our commander-in-chief a peacemaker or a warmonger? What say you?
Welcome to the USA reality TV show, where you get a different script every day, directed by our off-the-rails president, Mango Maniac.
Why do you say he's off the rails?
Dude, he's messing around in Venezuela. Now he's trying to go with Iran. He just had a meeting with Greenland and Denmark. The people came running out of the White House. They came running out of the White House.
But what about the notion, because you mentioned Venezuela, what about the notion that a large portion of the world views what he did by getting rid of Maduro as a good thing?
That's the only thing, getting rid of him. They think all this other stuff he's doing is a good thing down there. Taking over the oil, gonna keep, if you don't agree with what he says, he's not gonna let you come in. Exxon has some questions. Oh, I think we'll keep them out.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, look at the other things that he's doing. And what did he do? He took Maduro out, but he left the infrastructure in place. The same people that were still doing the pillaging and hell raising down there, they're still in place.
So what do you think?
Vice president.
What do you think?
All that stuff is in place.
So what do you think the ultimate goal is in Venezuela then?
You know what it is, bro.
I'm under the impression it was about preventing dangerous narcotics from entering America.
Yeah. Yeah, my name Willie Lump Lump, and I fell off the truck yesterday.
But that is what we were told, is it not?
Venezuela is what, number 6 or 7 as far as countries go that bring traffic drugs into this country. And irregardless, I haven't seen any programs or anything coming up regarding why are they bringing all this stuff into the country? I mean, in order to do that, you have to have a demand, right?
Yep.
And I haven't seen any programs coming out of Congress or anywhere else that said, hey, you know, we need to help our people. As a matter of fact, because we're looking at these shiny objects over there, Greenland, Venezuela, going after the Fed chair. And then meanwhile, what did they do today? Today, they terminated 2,000 to 2,800 federal grants worth $2 billion that dealt with mental health. This is the stuff that they're doing. See, this is the stuff we need to be looking at.
Well,
you know,
I suppose, and maybe he thought it was unnecessary. I don't know why he would do that. I mean, but I suppose he has his reasons, right?
what kind of reason can you have to cut $2 billion out of mental health, which is already underfunded?
Maybe you believe the mental health programs are either, part of fraud or the money's not being properly spent. I mean, he has to be able to articulate a reason. I'm sure he could articulate a reason.
You
may not agree with it, but I'm sure he could articulate a reason.
Do you really believe that? He can't even, he can hardly put together 3 sentences, bro. You really believe that?
That's what they said about Biden. I think Trump can put together 3 sentences.
So it's the same thing. Did you see the day when he was dozing off at the milk meeting? And they said so, oh yeah, I drink milk. How many times you see Biden fall asleep at a meeting?
He fell asleep once or twice.
How many times you seen Trump fall asleep at a meeting?
Plus or minus a few extra times. However, some would suggest that it's more acceptable for Trump because he holds a much more rigorous schedule. Trump is in public. Trump is on television a hell of a lot more than Biden ever dreamed of being. So some would suggest that is why it's kind of excusable for Trump to doze off a little bit more. He's up oftentimes at 3 or 4 in the morning on social media, letting the people know what's going on.
Well, that ain't work. No, he's up at 3 or 4 in the morning going off on people, saying all kind of crazy shit. That's what he's doing.
That he does.
Now, you know what he does have? He does have quite a bit of what they call it, executive time. When he's sitting in there watching Fox News or whatever in the morning time, he probably don't even start anything until about 10 or 11 o'clock. Come on, man.
Yeah, but how about this? Straight Talk Commerce in the comments says that Trump is up working all day, every day.
Yeah, I know. That's why he's 79 years old. Physically, he can't do that. That's why he's falling asleep in the meetings.
But you will admit he keeps a more rigorous schedule than Biden did, though, wouldn't you?
What, because he's out walking around? I mean, actually, really, he keeps a vigorous schedule. Okay, he go to, where did he go?
I mean.
Hold on a minute. Didn't Biden take Air Force One over and then over to Poland or whatever, and then did a 10-hour train ride to Ukraine, had a meeting with them, and then 10-hour train ride back, and then flew back.
Yeah, but here's the deal. Yeah, but Biden was probably asleep during the whole 10-hour train ride. Here's
what do you think? What do you think Trump was doing?
Well, here's what I'm talking about. But here's what I'm talking about. Trump is on television talking to the media almost every day. Biden, you were lucky to see him on TV 2 or 3 times a month. So,
dude, Trump is on TV lying to the media every day.
We could argue that, but I'm just saying he does.
You can't argue that.
He does talk.
You can say that.
Oh, he ain't lying all the time. I mean, when he said he was going to go into Venezuela, he didn't lie about that. What he's saying about Greenland.
75% of the time, Trump. Yeah, that's because he's bullying in. But when he's not in bully mode, he's lying all the time.
But the fact is,
since he came in office.
But the fact is, Trump does let the American people know what he's about to do. He made it clear he was going into Venezuela. He's somebody's going in Iran. When he says he's going into a country, it does appear that he's being honest about that.
Like I said, he's going into bully mode. What's his approval? What's the approval thing for going in Iran? Oh, he got good approval for taking out Maduro, but then the stuff that he's doing down there, his approval rating is not that high.
Well, he did run on a platform of ending wars and no new wars under me, and he's going in the opposite direction. So I would assume it's probably hurting his poll numbers because he is doing the opposite of what he ran on.
Hey, let me ask you something. Since you seem to be, you like to play a little devil's advocate.
Occasionally, not often, but occasionally. Go ahead.
Okay, so answer me this. How can you be nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize when you're blowing boats out the water? You done killed 100 people. You done went in there and snatched. You done invaded a sovereign country. You talking about going into Iran. You went in and bombed over in Nigeria and killed I don't know how many people. Not to mention when you went into Venezuela, yeah, you killed the security, you pew-pewed the security people, but you also knocked out about 65 or 100 Venezuelans. How do you get a Nobel Peace Prize behind that? Not to mention the chaos we got going on in the streets of the country. So how do you get a Nobel Peace Prize behind that? And constantly lying. Once again, you know, this is the thing about MAGA, man.
They're constantly lying. Go ahead.
We got the best economy. This is the best economy in the history of the world, history of the country. Well, you know, inflation is down to 0. There is no inflation. We brought inflation down. You know,
the man likes to exaggerate a little bit. Yeah, he likes to exaggerate a little bit.
That's a lie, bro. He's lying. Okay, you know what? Let me tell you what they did. So, last quarter
Thank you,
we had
Steve,
4%
on YouTube.
growth.
Say that again.
Last quarter they had 4% growth, right? We had 4% growth last quarter.
Okay.
And they ran and raving about it. But Biden had a 4% quarter also.
And they were saying it was the end of the world.
They trashed the economy for 4 years while he was president.
Well, I give Trump credit. If Trump does something that MAGA was criticizing coming from Biden, they suddenly find reasons not to criticize it coming from Trump. So I do give Trump credit. I don't know how he's been able to convince them to do that, but the price of groceries and eggs and all that stuff was a major upset under Biden. And suddenly when Trump got elected, they're okay with a little bit of short-term pain for long-term gain. So I don't know how he's able to pull it off, but I give him credit for being able to do it.
Especially when you think about it, you know, that's two of the things that like I always bring up. Well, hey, the price of eggs down. Well, you Earth biscuit, the price of eggs was up because of the freaking avian flu.
I've never heard somebody referred to as an Earth biscuit. That's
you know, but they constantly want to. But they put all that shit. Oh, everything is on Biden. Everything is on. Yeah, the price of eggs went up. You know what? Let me tell you something, man. I'm about tired of this bullshit. You know, I don't really curse a lot on here, but I'm about tired of this bullshit, man. They are freaking wreaking havoc in this country. From day one, they came in, freaking Doge was a nightmare. Damn Elon Musk running around there acting like.
But wait a minute though. Doge reportedly saved America $1 trillion in waste, fraud, and abuse. That's what they said.
Maybe probably less than 100 billion. They done wreaked havoc on the freaking IRS. They done wreaked havoc on Social Security. Every agency they went in, some of them they couldn't even find anything as far as inefficiency. The key words they like to talk about is waste, fraud, and abuse.
Yeah.
But they can never come up with it. Where is it at? I mean, okay, we got the thing in Minnesota. So now we gotta let me ask you something.
Sure,
they just poured 2,000 federal agents into Minneapolis. 2,000 federal agents in Minneapolis.
Actually, it's 3. They're gonna put another 1,000 in. Yeah, that's another 1,000.
That's freaking chaos. What are they gonna
do? In my opinion, and obviously I'm only speculating from what I'm seeing, but my opinion, the sole purpose of that is to promote fear. Fear.
That's it.
Yeah. I don't believe that the city of Minneapolis, has such a major immigration issue that you need 3,000. I mean, their police force in Minneapolis is only 600 strong. So 3,000 federal agents in that town is incredible amount of overkill.
It's all about performative. You look at the dog. First of all, we got the most incompetent cabinet that any presidential administration ever. But it's the same thing. They doing that. They spending all that money, and it's just like down in the Caribbean. We're spending what? We spent all.
Somebody must be trying to call my car. Yeah,
got Verizon, and so we've been in and out all day.
Okay.
So we just spent almost $1 billion down in the Caribbean.
Well, but if you end up refining their oil, we may recoup that.
Come on.
I'm just telling you.
What? Okay, so that's going to the oil companies. That's where that's going.
I don't expect for the average.
I mean, but come on. Right now, we're spending millions of dollars per day to drop bombs on boats that they say trying to bring drugs into the U.S. They can't even, and we're too far away to do that. Come on, man.
I don't have any explanation for that. I don't know why we would spend, shoot $500,000 cruise missiles at a drug boat. Yeah. I don't understand why they would do that.
Exactly. And I mean, look at Trump. He wants to rule the freaking world. He's like, what can stop you? Nothing can stop me except my morality and this big brain that I have.
But is he right? Is he right that the rest of the world has idly stood by while America has developed its military might to an insurmountable force that if we do put in a leader, a commander-in-chief that wants to rule the world, he would be practically unstoppable? Is Trump correct that he can rule the world and there's nothing anybody can do about it?
You know why? Because the Congress had abdicated their entire authority. They have been denutted. They're eunuchs. They don't have any backbone, and he's running amok just like he did the first time he was in office the first 2 years. But last time he had the generals in there to kind of keep him in check. He don't have anybody now. Nobody in Congress is standing up for him. So that's why they better get it done before November. Because I'm telling, hey, dude, there's so much damage been done to this country. It's going to take us years to recover, not only within our country, but within the world.
So then, I believe, based on your answer is yes, that President Trump is in a position that if he wants to rule the world, he indeed can do so, and there is no one that can stop him.
Well, not necessarily, because, sometimes you push people to a certain point. We're just one country. And yes, we do have the most powerful military in the world. But what would happen if all the countries in all the countries in Europe, the European Union, what if they finally grew some balls? They say, hey, we're not going to stand for this. We're not going to invade Europe.
Yeah, but if you know Trump is going to bring down the House if you dissent, most of them would probably stand idly by, hoping that, well, as long as he don't, because this is how it normally works. That's what happened when Germany was attacking everybody. Even America stood idly by and was like, as long as it's not us, we don't want to get involved.
Yeah, but now things are different.
What do you mean?
Because now you have.
Yeah.
So now, everybody knows what's going on. So if you start trying to do this, these countries are coming together. They will get.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this way. Speaking of countries coming together, okay, NATO is a bunch of.
EU does have a military.
Okay. Well, let me ask it to you this way. Since you're talking about these countries will come together, NATO consists of a bunch of countries that have came together. If Trump takes over Greenland by force, what do you think NATO will do?
We gotta go to war.
You think NATO will?
See, this is the thing, bro. This is the thing. Number one, we're not the only military in the world. We're the biggest military in the world. We're not the only arms manufacturer in the world. Mm-hmm. Actually, they make some pretty good fighter jets and stuff over in.
Yeah.
They're pretty good tank. They make some pretty good stuff over there. Now, do you think Europe is just going to let us come in there?
I don't know. Europe doesn't have a really good track record, even going back to World War II. You believe that NATO will fight America for Greenland?
I don't think we're going in there. I think it's a moot point.
I don't think Trump is known for lying about taking over countries. That's the kind of shit that when he says, I tend to think you can believe him more than dismiss him.
I don't think he's going in there. I don't think he's going to go in there. I think the stakes will be too high.
So why do you think he's talking about it then, if he's not going to do anything about it?
Because he likes to throw stuff out there. He likes to cause chaos. That's what he likes to do. He likes to cause chaos. So because he's talking about it, now you got them over here. You got he has strengthened NATO in the European Union not talking about it. So they're making plans. They already got troops and stuff over there doing war games and stuff, things of that nature. And not only that, if we did that, what would be the ramifications?
Well, the belief is there will be no ramifications because our military is so strong, ain't nobody can do shit about it. That's the way Trump and MAGA feels about this. There is no ramifications.
What about the ramifications economically?
We'll get rich.
What about that? What about countries that want to put sanctions on us?
Well, the belief likely is if we take Greenland and some of our allies start threatening to put sanctions on us, then we'll start threatening them militarily too.
Okay, then we're going into a world war. We're only one country, bro.
I'm just telling you, I get it. I agree. I'm on your side on this, but I'm telling you, the mindset seems to be that this one country can take over the world.
We're only one, if they stand by and let us do it. And then you know what? There's another thing too, but you might be onto something because he also wants to increase the defense budget to over $1 trillion.
That's what you do when you're planning on taking over the world.
No, he wants to do that. Now, whether he can do it or not, I don't know. You know, if he do it, he got to do it with the budget coming up in October, because I really do believe they're going to lose the House in November.
Well, but just because you lose the House don't mean everybody's leaving. In the comments real quick, Never Under Pressure says, Tim, sometimes you are dumb as a pile of rocks. Never Under Pressure, elaborate. Let me know what you're talking about. We'll go ahead and tackle it.
Well, you know,
go ahead.
And I'll let you roll. I'll let you roll on this. We have so much stuff going on in this country, and we're so focused on stuff that he's doing internationally. Meanwhile, he's dismantling and doing all kind of crazy shit over here. We have a freaking measles outbreak. We have a freaking measles outbreak.
People think it's cool
we
not
got
to
this
get...
clown. We got this clown over HHS that's
You talking about Kennedy? Talking about Kennedy?
Yeah, they just flipped the damn. I think steak is at the top of the. You know what I'm saying? You got all this crazy shit going on, man. What's going to happen?
But how about this in the comments? Speed Daddy Chicago, being from Chicago, says 80% of the people are behind President Trump. 80%.
Bullshit. Bullshit.
I'll just read the comments. I'm just reading.
This is another thing too. This is another thing too. Because how many people voted for Kamala? About 75 million.
Something like
Somewhere
that.
along
Yeah.
in there?
Something like that.
Because he only won by 1.some%. So it's not like he won by a whole lot. Okay. Didn't they say another 10 to 12 million people didn't vote?
I believe it was a large number of, certainly on the Democrat side. Kamala Harris was a bad candidate. She didn't energize anybody.
So you got about 80 million people that's against him. And the only hardcore people that he has is MAGA. And MAGA only makes up about 30% of the Republican Party.
But they are a dependable voting bloc.
Yeah,
They're probably more. MAGA is probably a more dependable voting bloc than any other voting bloc in existence.
Except for black folks and Democrats.
Black folks ain't reliable to show up for shit.
But look here. The reason that we had such a large turnout, remember when Biden won?
Okay.
The large turnout that came out because of what Trump did the first time he was in there.
Well, this is a lot different than that. So if it inspired them to vote for Biden, it'll absolutely inspire some voters coming up. But I got to move it on. But I disagree with you on black voters are not reliable to show up for shit.
No, they're dependable. They're dependable Democratic voters.
They're dependable.
80% of black folks voted for Kamala.
I think black folks are dependable to support Democrat causes, but when it comes to showing up to actually cast a ballot, I think blacks are the least dependable voting bloc you can talk about. They don't vote. They don't vote compared to Hispanics or women or whites or even a lot of descendants of other forms. They don't vote.
I know black women do.
Yeah. Okay.
I know black women do. Now, black men, that's a whole different story. I'm not going to even have that discussion with you.
Yeah. If all you got to depend on is the black voting bloc, you probably gonna lose because we don't show up to vote until we like 50.
We already saw that already.
Yeah. All right,
You know,
travel
so
man.
that-
Yeah,
All right,
that's a
man,
problem.
It's been a while since I've been on here, so thanks for bringing me up.
Anytime, man. Appreciate it. Good
All
talk.
right, take care.
All right, moving on with the program. By the way, are we talking about a peacemaker or a warmonger? We're talking about our current commander-in-chief. You guys may have heard me play the clip earlier. By the way, tap the screen, get the likes on up to 110. If you're watching us currently live on Instagram, TikTok, or Facebook, follow the program. You're currently watching live on YouTube, give your boy a sub. We're here most weekdays. This is what we're talking about. When we start talking about peacemaker or warmonger, I just wanted to play this clip earlier, play this clip again. We talked about this earlier, but this is your current president being discussed.
Are rising between the U.S. and Iran. President Trump told anti-government demonstrators in Iran that help is on the way. As sources inside the country tell CBS News that thousands could be dead from the government's violent crackdown on protests. The president has warned Iran that the U.S. will take very strong action if the government makes good on threats to hang protesters this week. But he says Iran has since backed down.
We will take very strong action. If they do such a thing, we will take very strong action.
Now, Iran also threatened President Trump. They actually posted a picture of him in Pennsylvania when somebody tried to take his life. You mean he's holding his ear and, you know, this fight pose that everybody rallied behind. Well, Iran posted that picture on state TV with the caption, "The next bullet won't miss." That came from the Iranian government. So the Iranian government has made a threat on President Trump's life in regards to his threats he's made on that country. So whether or not Iran will be an easy defeat, you know, we'll be able to take them out pretty. They're making it clear that they're willing to fight if it comes down to that. And they've threatened our assets in the region, like bases in Bahrain and other places. But Iran is not the only issue.
Down his desire to acquire Greenland, and he said today on Truth Social that anything less than Greenland in the hands of the United States was, quote, unacceptable. And his comments came just hours ahead of a White House meeting on the issue, and he wrote that the U.S. needs Greenland for the purpose of national security. The president says the territory is vital for the Golden Dome the U.S. is building, and he says NATO should be leading the way for the U.S. to get it. He added that NATO will be far more formidable and effective with Greenland in the hands of the United States. The Danish and Greenland foreign ministers will meet with Vice President J.D. Vance today at the White House.
I don't see any purpose of, I mentioned this earlier, I don't see any purpose of Greenland meeting with J.D. Vance. I mean, if Trump has already came out and said, you know, anything less than America owning Greenland is unacceptable, then what's the purpose of meeting with him? There is nothing to negotiate. His stance is, if I don't walk out of here owning your country, I'm not accepting any deals we make. Then what's the purpose of even meeting him? He's not there to hear anything you say other than I surrender. So what is the purpose of meeting with J.D. Vance? I guess other than to plead and hope somehow that they can get Trump to bend? J.D. Vance can't get Trump to bend. So I don't see the purpose of meeting with the Trump administration. But you hear also in this clip that the Trump administration is telling NATO somehow, some way that it'll be beneficial to NATO to let America have control of Greenland. Now, obviously, this brings up the phrase, there is no I in team. If we want to be beneficial to NATO, then it should be beneficial to NATO for us all to have access and control of Greenland, not just one member state of NATO. Why should you get control of NATO, or better yet, of Greenland, and all the other NATO members have to stand by? That sounds like, it doesn't sound like we're working together as a team. It sounds like we're working together for your benefit. But I'm asking, and we're discussing whether our current commander-in-chief seeking the Nobel Peace Prize is indeed a peacemaker or a warmonger. Now, this is in addition to threatening to go in Iran, threatening to take over Greenland, taking out Maduro and controlling Venezuela, threatening to turn Gaza into the Riviera of the Middle East, threatening Cuba, Panama, Colombia, bombing Nigeria, Syria, and a host of other countries. Is he a peacemaker or a warmonger? Now, before I take the next caller, some of you may have already seen this. I posted this earlier because it's been all over social media to some degree. It's not a clear graphic on my end, but I'll post it on the screen just for reading purposes here. Within less than a calendar year, President Trump has already bombed Iran, Iraq, Nigeria, Palestine, Somalia, Syria, Venezuela, and Yemen. And obviously his acquisition towards Greenland is not even part of this. So that would be the ninth nation. Peacemaker or warmonger? What say you? Help your boy out with the tic-tac cap goal. Anthony, appreciate you showing some love. Absolutely. Appreciate those who are helping support the program. Going back to the box, Straight Talk Commerce. Good evening, Straight Talk. Warmonger or peacemaker? What say you?
So definitely a peacemaker. Just because you are ready to confront your enemy does not mean that you are warmongering. They can always back down. They can always stop doing what it is they're doing.
You see the nation of Greenland as an enemy?
Not necessarily an enemy, no. But listen. Have you ever been in a negotiation? Have you ever negotiated anything?
You think telling Greenland?
I'm asking a question,
and I'm answering the question. Telling Greenland anything less than us taking over, that's a negotiation to you?
Yes.
What is the term? What is he offering?
You didn't answer my question. You said you were going to answer my question.
I've been in a negotiation.
Hold on, Tim.
Yes.
Tim, while we're saying this, we're going to find out whether you are a liar or whether you just don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, let's go for it. Let's go for it.
All right. Who's running Venezuela? Who's in charge of Venezuela right now?
Us.
What's her name?
Us.
What's her name?
Donald J. Trump.
No. What is the current president of Venezuela? What's her name? Tell me. Tell us all.
I don't know the lady's name, but she's not running Venezuela. She's not running.
Not the woman.
She is not running Venezuela. I disagree with you.
Excuse me? So you know who's running Venezuela? We're going to come to you for that now?
So President Trump actually quoting saying that we're running it. He was lying?
Hey, no, he's not. They're running it in our direction. But
what the hell does that mean? Running it
point of contact. This is why you guys are wrong, dude.
What does running it in our direction? What does that even mean?
No. Running it at our direction.
Okay.
Who's the point of contact? Who's on the ground in Venezuela, Tim? Don't get out of this. You know it's not the Nobel.
No, I'm taking your quote.
You said lied.
I'm taking your quote.
You do know.
I'm taking your quote. You said they're running it at our direction. If you're running the Dollar Tree at my direction, then I'm running the Dollar Tree. You're not running it. I'm running it.
What? Then you're not. Now you're lying because you said the lady that won the Nobel Peace Prize gave it to Trump so she could run the country, and she hadn't even anything to do with it. Here's another one. Hold on. Here's another one.
Okay.
Cruise missile, or Hellfire missile. What's the difference?
There's a big expense in difference, but we don't know. Yeah. We don't know.
Listen, we're shooting those boats. And by the way, just so traveling, just for his edification, those boats are meeting up with other boats and transferring the substances into the larger boats.
How do you know? How do you know?
Because, Tim, they can't.
How do you know?
Okay, well, you think that they're running those substances thousands of miles in those small substance running boats?
I've had a hell of a lot of MAGA come on here.
Video. Why do you think we've captured all these tankers?
I've had a hell of a lot of MAGA come on here and say, yes, those boats are capable of making that whole journey on themselves.
Well, they're wrong. They're wrong.
Okay. MAGA is that's a liberal argument you're making, is that those boats are incapable of making that journey. MAGA believes those boats are capable of that.
You're right in that they're incapable of making the journey, but you're wrong about what happens to those substances. And it's been laid out many times by your government why they're doing this. It's been laid out many times.
What hasn't
so
been?
I don't understand. You're either lying or you just don't know the answer and saying whatever comes out of your mouth.
I think the lie is you saying it's been laid out many times by our government. What Trump is doing in Venezuela, he ain't proved shit. He ain't proved that they're carrying fentanyl. He ain't proved that they're carrying harmful narcotics. He ain't even proved that their destination is the United States. He ain't proved shit.
Has. Listen, to your knowledge, you don't really look into this kind of stuff. You still say, and I got to be very careful about
Take your time. Take your time.
I got to be very careful about what I say because I don't want this conversation to end, and it will end. But I can.
Well, it won't end on my account because we don't censor shit.
I appreciate that.
We don't censor shit.
That.
Give me what you got. Give me what you got.
Yeah, I want your audience to write down Habjala. Habjalla. Habjalla.
Spell it again.
I'm sorry. It's Hablabaja.
Hablabaja. What the hell did I just write down?
Okay, it's a town in northern Iraq. And I want you to find out when you get done with me what's so special about that town. Okay? And you may find something very interesting about what's so special about that town.
In northern Iraq. This is in northern Iraq.
Northern Iraq. This is a town in northern Iraq. That's about all I'm going to say about that. The reason that I'm saying that will become very obvious to you the moment that you put in there and do a little bit of research on why that's important.
All right. Well, since I'm not able to research why the program is going on live, then we'll move on because it's a moot point until I look it up.
So look, here's the thing. You guys have, number one, we are going into Greenland. We are NATO. Okay. That's it.
Does anybody else in NATO even are you under the belief that everybody else in NATO is essentially irrelevant?
100% irrelevant. 100%. They don't have the military to oppose us. That's the reason for NATO to begin with. They haven't even been spending the 2% for their own defense. Now they've decided, because Trump is serious, that they're going to pay the 5%, but they weren't even spending the 2% on their own defense before that. Everyone knows this. Every single one of these countries have been able to live without an army because of the United States. And now you're saying that they're going to actually challenge us in some way? That is a ridiculous statement.
Yeah.
Not only that. Let's take a look at our largest opposition on the planet, okay? Russia can't even beat Ukraine, okay? They've been in a stalemate with Ukraine, Ukraine, okay? There are counties in Texas that could have beat the Russians. You feel me?
I don't buy that.
Are you kidding me? Okay, then explain to me why.
Straight talk. Or give him a second. Maybe he got a phone call. We'll give him a second.
Hold on. Okay. No, I got fat thumbs. I need to stop touching my phone. Now, look here.
Okay.
They can't even, and by the way, they're running out of Russian soldiers. So what do? They go to North Korea and get a bunch of North Koreans slaughtered.
Okay.
This is craziness.
I don't buy into this notion that Russia could not beat the Ukraine and they couldn't beat a few guys in Texas.
Why haven't they?
Because they're fighting a whole bunch of... I'm answering the question. They're fighting a whole bunch of fucking countries. If Russia was fighting the Ukraine alone, this would have been over years ago. They're fighting...
You think?
They're involved in a proxy war with America. They're not fighting the Ukraine. They're fighting America. All of the satellite intelligence that the Ukraine is incapable of producing, all of that's coming from America.
Coming from us, huh?
Right.
Genius. That's genius. And so we're doing it. Look, there's no sweat. Did you have to fire a round? No. Did you pick up a rifle? No. A rock? No. Dug a foxhole?
But you didn't. But you made it sound like
you go to work every day.
But
you park your ass on TikTok every single day, do what you want to do, talk to these numbskulls constantly. You don't even have a chance. And all that because you live in a country that isn't Russia, that isn't China. Yet you want to sit here and root against that country. You think, how long do you think it would take us to take over Cuba?
You ever stop to think the reason why we do that even in this country is because we think Trump might be taking us in a direction of being like Russia or China?
No. And by the way, how many military bases do we have? The United States, how many military bases do we have worldwide?
Got to be dozens of them.
Dozens. Try 780 to 800 bases.
You think that will continue to be that way if we keep fucking over NATO and all these countries?
Yes.
You think they're gonna just? You
what
think
are they gonna do about it?
I'll tell you what they're gonna do about it. Hang on. Let me get in here. I'll tell you what the hell they're gonna do about it. It won't be safe to operate on those bases because of guerrilla warfare tactics. Terrorism and shit is what they'll do about it.
You don't think we know how to deal with guerrilla warfare?
Did you not see what happened in Iraq?
Who do you think we are, Tim?
You say,
who do you think we are?
You asked the question, do I not think we know what to do with guerrilla warfare? And I'll give you the 50,000 plus casualties of Vietnam or the 6,000 of Iraq. Guerrilla warfare works on Americans. There's a historical precedent that shows that. That works.
Tim, we walked into Venezuela with 20 men. 20 men stepped out of a helicopter, walked into the presidential palace, snatched up Maduro, put a mint under his pillow, and he is in New York City right now. Now you stop.
Let me respond by simply saying, if we opened up a base in Venezuela and they actually got access to doing guerrilla tactics, you would start seeing casualties of Americans in Venezuela. We actually did all the stuff you're saying, and we left within a matter of hours. We're not on the ground in Venezuela.
How do we maintain bases in 780 different military bases? How do we operate those? And by the way, we operate those bases at the invitation of those countries. They make money from us. You really believe that they're going to ask us to leave? The reason Japan was rebuilt after World War II was because we hung around and rebuilt it. Yeah. The reason Germany was able to recover after World War II, guess what? It was us that rebuilt it. England. Every country in the UK that was involved in that war, we have a base in those countries, and we rebuilt those countries. And you would have us turn our back on Venezuela. You would have us turn our back on
Venezuela like we've been an ally or something. And there's the whole time. Turn our back. We're turning our back on NATO.
We were until they were taken over by a regime. We should have done this a long time ago. You're right.
Turn our back on Venezuela. We're turning our back on NATO.
How are we turning our back on NATO? Those countries are still under our protection.
By taking over one of them.
Which country? Which NATO country are we taking over? It's a protectorate. It's not even.
It ain't. If the people don't want you, If the people don't want you to do it, you ain't protecting shit. They don't want you to do it.
Who said they don't want us to do
President Trump said we're going to do it whether they like it or not. He's saying they don't want you to do it.
Yeah. He's letting them know that we are not going to stop. We're not going to allow Greenland to determine whether we protect the people of the United States of America and the Northern Hemisphere. We're just not. It's not going to happen. Now, look, they can pretend to be a country all they want. They're about as much a country as Somalia is.
That ain't our place to decide that.
It most certainly is.
So we get to decide, but nobody on earth does. Only us.
We could take over Greenland lunchtime. Just give us a lunch hour. We can take it for ourselves. We've chosen not to do it, Tim. We have chosen. Our benevolence is that we have not done it. But we will if we feel like we need to for our own protection. You need to get used to that.
What other countries?
Hold on. I'm not going to let my wife and my family sit there with a gaping hole for China and Russia to pour through. Ain't gonna do it. Not because you feel like you're angry and have some derangement syndrome. Trump is a bad man, orange man. No, not when you won't pick up a rifle in ruck, and not when you don't build a hasty fighting position.
So
Not gonna happen, dude.
what other countries in the future might we deem we need to take over for our benefit?
Well, my best advice to you is spin that globe and put your finger down, because they're all up for grabs.
And this is the guy you're calling a peacemaker.
Listen, if you want to oppose me, okay, I walk through, let's say that I'm a heavyweight boxing champion. He doesn't beat everybody. He only beats those that challenge him, right? He goes and gets in the ring with the person that challenges him, doesn't he? Does he walk around the mall and just go cracking people in the head?
No, Trump goes around challenging people that can't fight back. He is a bully.
It's not true.
Yeah, he's not gonna threaten to take over China or Russia. He is striking countries. That's why people are saying that under Trump, we're not getting involved in any wars, because he is committing acts of war with countries that are too weak to fight back.
What are you talking about?
You know what an act of war is?
What act of war is the president? Are you nuts? What act of war has the president of the United States done against another country? I'm interested.
Okay. Well, if you give me a moment to speak, first of all,
sure.
Bombing the nuclear facilities in Iran is an act of war. If somebody did that to us, we would declare war on them. Bombing boats off the coast of Venezuela and bombing some Colombian citizens in the process, and then taking out their leadership is an act of war.
What were those boats doing again?
It's an act of war. You didn't hear what I said. It doesn't matter. Listen, it does not matter what you think they're doing. The way you are responding is
war, Tim. The act of war was them sending fentanyl and all kinds of substances into this country. They owe us billions of.
That's
they
crazy.
owe us billions of dollars. Billions of dollars. The international court we got an award from the international court that said that they owe us billions.
Well,
of
I will
dollars.
tell you.
It's time to collect.
I will tell you.
As far as Iran goes, they are currently threatening to hang their own people.
And
that's cool with you?
All of the people we've hung in this country of our own shit, people like me got hung most of America's history.
Oh, I got you. Okay. But look, the Iran attacks Israel, one of our allies, on a regular basis. They are the hub of terrorism in that area. Do you see any of the Muslim nations saying a word, one peep, about us doing what we did to Iran?
That don't mean it ain't an act of. That doesn't mean it ain't an act of war. Straight talk.
Far to the contrary. They are applauding us. They are rewarding us.
Just because people are applauding you don't mean it. Just because people are applauding you doesn't mean it's not an act of war.
Not people, Tim. Not people.
Okay.
People who you would think would be outraged by us attacking one of their people in their neighborhood.
That doesn't change my statement. Just because if you bomb people, if you bomb my country and people around the world are happy, that don't mean what you did is not an act of war. Let me just say it like this: if another foreign nation came over here and they murdered President Trump, there's a hell of a lot of countries that would be happy about that. That don't mean it ain't an act of war.
Oh, there'd be American citizens. I think you'd be one of those American citizens who would be happy about it. And I'll tell you something. I want you to look in the mirror tonight before you go to bed. And I want you to say, I support Iran. I support Venezuela. I support Russia. I want you to say that into the mirror tonight.
I'm just going to say it to the mirror. You're sounding crazy right now. It's an act of war.
Me?
Yes, You're denying what an act of war is.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
If you want to say that what we did was an act of war, and are you saying it was unprovoked? You saying that us attacking Iran was unprovoked?
If you tell Iran you cannot have nuclear missiles like we can, if you do it, we're going to blow you up.
You believe that?
Yeah.
You believe that them attacking Israel, one of our allies, was not provocation for us to do what it is we did?
I believe that Israel can handle their own affairs. They don't need America jumping in their shit.
Real?
Really?
Hey, look, man, I appreciate. I'm sure the Ayatollah appreciates your full-throated support,
and I'm sure AIPAC appreciates. And I'm sure AIPAC appreciates you. I'm sure AIPAC appreciates your full-throated support.
Well, they have it. They 100% have it. I'll stand 10 toes down with that.
You may end up standing.
Right.
You may not stand 10 toes down. You may stand. You may not stand 10 toes down. You may end up standing 6 feet under. You keep backing all these unnecessary wars. I mean, when these countries decide to respond, it's you and me that could be the victims of some kind of terror attack. It ain't gonna be Trump.
Fortunately for me, of the two of us, I've already defended this country. So I'm familiar with that. I don't know what you're going to do, but I do know that I have been there, done that, got the t-shirt for it. So, while I appreciate your opinion about this stuff, you don't believe enough in it that you would ever put yourself in harm's way for those beliefs that you just let loose from your mouth.
Yeah, I don't believe that the conflicts that Trump is getting us in are either necessary nor beneficial to America. No, I don't.
Now that I don't have a problem with. You have every right to feel that way. And I will support to my death your right to express that. That I have that's the first thing that you've said to make any sense to me whatsoever. And you can disagree with it all day long.
I do.
The fact of the matter is, I disagree with you as well. I do believe that in order for us to maintain our sovereignty, we are going to need to do things differently than we have been doing them before. Because I see the encroachment. I see those countries that have been taking advantage of this country for a very long time finally getting their comeuppance. Finally, we are starting to look at America first and realizing we don't have to subsidize.
How does any of this benefit? You talking about America first? How does any of this shit, Venezuela, Greenland, how does any of this benefit the average American?
All right, I'll tell you. Number one, with Venezuela in particular, Venezuela owed the United States the companies in the United States a great deal of money.
And how does the average American
oil prices are far higher in this country because Venezuela has a regime that is not interested in its people and cannot support its place in the world. So we got to fix that. That's got to be fixed.
Wait.
We're flirting.
So conquering Venezuela will benefit the average American how?
Okay, number one, their whole sphere of influence has changed. Russia and China, they're not sending that oil to Russia and China anymore. They're not supporting the regime of Cuba anymore. That definitely benefits the United States in just those three countries.
How as an average citizen? How, as an average citizen, will I benefit by us controlling Venezuelan oil fields?
How many times?
I'm asking a question. I'm just asking a question.
Explain to you.
Explain it. Explain it like a 2-year-old. Make it clearer. Explain it.
Tim, I don't know how much simpler I can explain it. China is one of our greatest adversaries. They are looking for to spread their influence in this hemisphere. We beat it back, told them, no, you can't have any influence in this hemisphere. We don't want to live in a communist society, and you need to go back to where you came from. So that's one. It benefits the United States because we have a weaker China, not a stronger China. We're not going to have to worry about China spreading their influence in this hemisphere. Russia, the same thing. Hey, listen, when they're worried about their next
here's why I'm having trouble understanding your explanation. I think what you don't seem to realize is you can do things that benefit the elite of the United States without benefiting the average American person at all. Just because the oil companies, for instance, Exxon or politicians are making money, like Nancy Pelosi made a fortune, that don't mean the average American is benefiting at all. I think the stuff you're talking about with us controlling Venezuela could indeed benefit the 1% in this country. That's why I keep asking you, how does it benefit the average American?
Yeah, just because it benefits the 1% doesn't mean that it benefits the 99%. And you stepped into my live earlier
How does
today.
it benefit the 99% is what I've been trying to ask you over and over again.
Okay. And by the way, and I explained it over and over again. You just don't accept my explanation.
What is your explanation? Tell me how the average person making 60 grand a year is going to benefit.
Having a safer hemisphere, having closer relationships with the people, with the countries that are in our hemisphere, definitely and opening up trade and getting cheaper power sources, definitely. But I know that here's what you want to hear.
You're telling me as an American citizen, you're telling me as an American citizen that taking out Venezuela makes me safer?
Yes.
Wrap it up. The last word on you. Go ahead. I got to move on. Last word on you.
You know, I came in here because I left the last live you and I were in together. I left because of their treatment of you. And I feel like right now dragging you back to those boys and letting them have their absolute way with you. And you're laughing because you know it's true.
Well,
you know that it's true.
And no, I don't know it's true. I don't know it's true.
You know what, Tim? You don't ever get to talk about Trump being a liar again. Okay. Not to me.
Okay, not to
me. You can't stand up and be a man, then that's cool. That's cool.
You can put your fingers in your ear and go, nah, when I'm calling him a liar. I'll give you permission to do that.
I'm just saying, it takes one to know one. If you're going to stand on that, it takes one to know one.
Wrap it up. I got to move it on. I'm giving you the last word. What's the point? Land your plane.
Here's my point. There is not one single country, not one single one of our allies that at one point in time we did not have a war with. You understand? Even England, UK, we fought for our independence against the United Kingdom. You look at countries like Japan. We fought World War II against Japan single-handedly. We fought against Germany, ally. We fought against half of the countries in Europe and rebuilt them. So at one point or another, we have fought just about every other country on this planet, Tim.
And that's your point.
That is my point. My point is we have made them an ally. And sometimes they need a punch in the nose to remember who their daddy is. That's just the way it goes.
With friends like you, you don't need enemies. I got to go. Thank you for coming through Straight Talk. Sure. Real quick in the comments, Jermaine says, tell straight dumbass. Wait a minute. Not Straight Talk commerce. He says, tell straight dumbass to rent a boat in Venezuela and go 5 miles out. What do you want him to be picked up by the U.S. military and bombed from the air? Damn, Straight Talk, you did see that. I see Straight Talk in the comments says, wow. Look, me and my last caller don't agree on anything. He's welcome on the program anytime. We don't have any problem with dissenting opinions, but this whole notion that America's so big and bad, nobody can fuck with us, we can just run everybody over, I think that is a dangerous precedent. I think that sets a dangerous precedent. I think it sets a dangerous precedent because you and I, as I was trying to indicate to him, we don't benefit from any of that. The only thing we end up receiving is the backlash. So while when we're taking over other countries and destroying people and taking out leaders, we don't receive any of the spoils from those victories. What we receive is the backlash, the terrorist acts, the folks that are doing random killings abroad. That's what we get. So when you're out on the subway or you at a ball game or you're hanging out on the beach and somebody shows up with an AR that's pissed off from what the Trump administration did, but they can't get access to Trump, you are the one that pays the price for that. Even though you didn't receive any of the money, any of the oil, any of the leadership powers or nothing from it. That's the difference. My last caller somehow seems to think that if we take over Venezuela, the average American is going to get rich. I don't want no part of that. I don't want no part of that. Looking in the comments, though, like the illegals y'all want to stay. Illegals are not in this country performing terrorist attacks. That's a right-wing talking point with no actual proof behind it. If you notice, you don't see the Trump administration plastering a bunch of rapists and murderers on TV that they're deporting. You see people getting deported from gas stations and court dates and dude at a Home Depot that was just trying to put drywall up for a living. So yeah, the criminal history of the illegals that are being deported or undocumented residents, it don't measure even close to what the Trump administration led us to believe. In fact, a lot of people that are getting deported had TPS status, temporary protected status, or they were asylum seekers. No criminal record at all. Trump just got rid of their asylum claim or revoked their TPS status, and now he's coming to get them. There's no rape or murder in this person's past. You just decided they can't stay anymore. That's what most of the people getting deported are. They're not bad hombres, as the Trump administration is stating. And that's what's pissing everybody off, like the Renee Nicole Goods and all of them. Thank you for the hat and mustache there. Who did that? James Harper. Thank you. Real quick in the comments before we continue on, and tap the screen, get us up to 130. THURDY. Tap the screen, get the likes up. We're taking their oil. What do you think a spoil would be, call or otherwise? Well, I think we're just blindly following Trump, thinking that Trump has a really good plan. I really dispelled a notion when my last caller said that essentially NATO is irrelevant. I think that's insane. NATO provides surveillance. They provide access in the region. So in other words, if NATO said leave, since we're no longer an ally of yours, get out of our countries, that would put America at a huge detriment, because now we don't have troops on the ground, forward bases on the ground, all of that. I mean, there's a lot of our equipment that can't make the journey all the way from the U.S. mainland to strike in Russia or strike in China and make the journey all the way back. We need those bases, refueling depots and things like that are throughout Europe. If all of a sudden we treat NATO like shit and they say go home, America will be significantly weaker. Significantly weaker. So the idea that America's doing it all on their own and we don't need NATO, I just think that's really short-sighted. And that makes sure that just is a horrible way to treat an ally. Some of these folks joined us in the Iraq war that turned out to be a useless fucking war. And some of them folks are getting their citizens beheaded and shit over there, fighting on behalf of us in Iraq. To tell them you're irrelevant, horrible. Not to mention they joined us with Article 5 after September 11th. Anyway, going back to the box, I think that's horrible to treat your own friends like that. James Harper, good evening. Welcome to the program.
What's going on, Tim?
You're following a hell of a caller. Did you hear the last call?
Yeah.
Your take.
I heard all that bullshit.
Well, he says that I'm full of shit.
We all know that he's full of shit. He pretends to be this tough guy, but he was a paper pusher. He was nowhere near any combat, but he's always talking tough, talking about, I defended this country, I did this, I did that, but all you did was push papers.
I'm not going to challenge his military service. I don't know what he did when he was in the military, so I'll leave it as that. Go ahead.
Not to mention, he has no idea what happened in any of those countries that we were in. He's just going off of what the news told him. Because if he did, he would understand that, first off, we just can't just go in there and attack them one time and it'd be done and over with. No. You know how much manpower and resources we had to put in to Iraq and Afghanistan?
Right.
Just to keep the country from falling into like more chaos than it was already in?
Yeah, I believe we had over 100,000 there, didn't we?
Yes.
Yeah.
And over 20 years, we didn't get anything.
That's a good point. So why do you think someone like him seems to believe that America could just literally go around the world blowing everybody over like the three little pigs, huff and puff and blow your house down? Like nobody has any resistance to America.
Because they're absolutely delusional.
Well, I can't totally argue with that, because I'm really surprised to see somebody really view the world as pretty much our oyster. We can just go around and do whatever we can unresisted.
I can tell you from experience, when we were in Iraq, I was in Iraq and Afghanistan, and we were not alone in those countries.
You mean we had allies helping us?
We had allies helping us majorly, especially Germany, Canada, and England.
So if Trump takes over Greenland, as he's indicating, how do you believe NATO would respond? Would they just idly stand by and let it happen like my last caller suggested?
No, some countries will try to go in militarily, but they'll hit us economically. What these idiots don't seem to realize, we import more than we export, and we need a lot of shit. So if we start doing shit like that, the first thing they're going to do is say, we'll stop selling our stuff to you.
Would we be okay? Because we import and export. We have a huge import from China, but Europe, if Europe decides to stop doing business with us, you think it would hurt us that bad?
Yes, it would.
Where would Canada fall on this?
Canada would side with NATO.
And if all of these folks start trying to hurt us financially, economically, as you suggest, do you think Trump would escalate it and start threatening any of these countries additionally, militarily?
First off, he's already tried to like have them draft plans to actually go in militarily, and they already told him like, no, sir, we can't do that. That's illegal. Like his top advisors are not going to just blindly follow. They know where the line is, and they're not going to push that line.
I mean, I hate to ask you this, but are you sure? He got a lot of loyalists surrounding him.
No, he's already tried. They've already look it up. You'll see that they said that they already pushed back saying, no, sir, we can't do this.
First term or second term?
Second term, like just recently when he tried to say draft plans about invading Greenland, they were like, we can't do that.
So he is dead serious, though.
Of course he's dead serious. He's serious about anything that involves other people doing the hard work while he sits back and reaps the benefit.
But if you're saying they told him we can't do that, so do you feel like we're not going to invade Greenland? Do you feel confident it's not going to happen?
He's going to keep trying, and what he's probably going to end up trying to do is getting rid of the advisors that told him that we can't do that to find ones that will.
Yeah. So in other words, it's likely to happen.
Not before the midterms. I don't think so. Unless he does something like extremely drastic, it won't happen before the midterms.
I don't know. I think with him showing what he could do in Venezuela, I mean, bombing Iran. I mean, he's done a lot without any congressional approval.
No, what he did in Venezuela was a single attack, and it just happened to get the leader. He didn't actually do like a strategy and completely take over. We don't even have control. Like he left the same infrastructure in there. He just took the leader.
Yeah, but when you look at how quick we were able to go into Venezuela and take out Maduro, I would assume Greenland is a less powerful nation than Venezuela. We wouldn't need to be there that long. I mean, certainly we already got assets in the country.
Yeah, we have a military base in there, and that's because they allowed us to have the military base in there. Like, it's not with them talking about like, oh, we need to take it over. That's bullshit because we are, like I said, we have a base in there. We have an observation.
Do you think let me ask you something? Do you think they should allow that to continue? You got a country that is threatening to take over you that already has a military base within your border. Do you think they should leave that there?
What's going to end up happening is Trump is going to keep pushing, and then they're going to say, you know what? Forget this. Get out of our country.
Yeah. Because I think that's what we would do. If you're talking shit while you have a base in our country, that's my first response. Y'all got to go. I mean, you're making it clear you are an enemy of our country.
Yeah, that's what's going to end up happening. Like I said, they're talking about these people ain't going to do nothing to us if we try this. Yeah, you keep thinking that. And then they talk about like Israel is our greatest ally. When it came to the Iraq and Afghanistan war, Israel didn't even send 100 people to help us.
You gotta love the Israelis. I mean, they're in a good position. They receive a lot of free shit without making much commitment.
You remember how you talk about like those were bullshit wars? Guess where we got that intel from for that stuff?
Netanyahu. I've seen the clips of them talking about they had weapons of mass destruction.
Exactly.
You gotta love the Israelis. They get a lot from the United States with little commitment or input. We just love the Israelis for some reason. I don't get it.
Yeah, it's because of AIPAC. Like you said, they've gotten themselves in key positions, and they funded all these people. And they said, "Hey, any negative talk about us, we want you to cut it off and keep praising us."
How about this though? In the comments, One of my viewers on YouTube says Trump knows exactly what he's doing. He is a very successful businessman, and he's running our country as such. Everything's already much better off under him. What say you?
How is it much better off when unemployment is high, like almost at COVID level high again? Not to mention, everything is up. Groceries is up. Inflation is up. Housing market is up. Everything is more expensive. Like people are losing their stuff like every day.
I think the things that are well, I think the things that MAGA are seeing that are much better off predominantly is Trump is defending the border, so a lot of illegal immigrants are getting kicked out of the country. I just think it's the misery of people that they don't like. Seeing those folks suffer is where they're deriving the pleasure in the belief that because you're right, it's not based on grocery prices, inflation, or job numbers or any of that. It's MAGA's happiness, at least right now, until maybe the economy gets better or something like that. But MAGA's happiness is primarily derived from seeing their perceived enemies endure misery. That's most of the stuff they're celebrating is the stuff he's doing to their enemies.
That and watching the 1% succeed. That's who's benefiting, the 1%. And MAGA tries to see themselves as, oh, I'm better than regular people. I'm successful. I'm this. I'm that. But you're not at where the 1% is. All that stuff that they're doing, you're not in that tax bracket.
I don't disagree with that, and I would give Trump credit if he was doing a lot of things that were benefiting the average American right now. I would give him credit for that. But most of the stuff that Trump is doing that is beneficial is hurting the perceived enemies of MAGA. You know, the LGBTQ folks, or the folks in Minnesota, or the Somalis, or the sanctuary state. It's hurting other people, but the average MAGA voter is not like, well, you know, man, I just got hired with a high-paying job, or my salary just blew up, or the price of groceries are so cheap, right? It ain't really benefiting them specifically. It's just watching their enemies suffer is where the pleasure is coming from.
Right. And they keep talking about we're winning. But how much business have we lost since Trump got in office? Soybeans is gone. Beef is down. Like a lot of our exports have been bad. Tourism is down bad. Yep. Like they just said, like things like the FIFA World Cup and stuff like that, they're losing money right now because of Trump. Like they said, over 17,000 people have been asking for refunds just because of all the bullshit he's doing.
But how about this? One of my viewers said, "Give it time, bro. It's been less than a year." So what about the notion that Trump will put us on a path to greatness, but you got to give him a little time first?
You're saying give him time when how many people have lost their jobs already? Because I think it's like more than 1 million by now.
Yeah, I would also add the midterms is less than a year away, so that, you know, you don't have a lot of time when historically the actual president normally does bad in the midterms. Trump, I mean, better yet, Obama took a shellacking. Bush lost in the midterms. Trump lost in the first. I mean, so it's almost been a year. That's a lot of time, believe it or not.
Right. They're saying like, oh, give it time, it's going to get better. No, it's not. Everything that you see him doing, he's going after this. Even the oil people say, hey, we don't want this. It's not a good investment. And he's still trying to go for these resources. It's like he didn't learn from Iraq and Afghanistan.
But what about the notion when my last caller was suggesting that what Trump is doing internationally will benefit the average voter?
It will not benefit the average voter. He's talking about that same bullshit trickle-down economics. Like, oh, well, while these 1%ers, they are supposed to be getting financial benefits from taking all this other stuff, you get the benefit of it's a safer world for you.
Yeah, I don't get that. My last caller indicated that taking over Venezuela makes us safer. I don't understand. The average American is not in danger from any Venezuela. I don't know where he got that from, but one of my callers, I don't even, Dose 313 says, Tim, brother, give the right, Biden, he's saying Biden unemployment rate was 6.4. Trump is currently 4.3. I have never heard Biden's unemployment rate being 6.4%. I'd have to see.
No,
I'd have to see
they're
that.
talking about around COVID when we still had the lockdown. But when did Biden get what was the unemployment when he left?
Yeah, and that's what I would say. When Trump took office, what was Biden's? 6.4% is super high. That is not representative of the entire Biden term. I've never heard it that high. That's pretty high. So, but I agree with you, James, is that under the Trump's term, the unemployment rate has not gotten. Listen, Trump came in office via Doge, Elon Musk, firing everybody. So it should be of no surprise that the job numbers under Trump are bad. I mean, has he been, since he's been in office, has any industry been bragging about how many jobs they created? Now I know the tariffs.
In fact, they had to sit there and they were going to try to redefine what a full jobs report is. Because of how bad it was.
Yeah. He wants to fire the messenger. He wants to fire the messenger for that.
He did fire the messenger. And then he put one of his people in there, and he's gonna do this just like he did with the COVID test. Remember, at first they would tell us how many people were getting affected, and then after a while they stopped doing it because the numbers were getting so bad.
Yeah. And that's the thing is that that's the thing is that Trump came to power firing everybody. Now, he's promised the tariffs will bring jobs back. Some industries he claims have been talking about bringing jobs back from China. That sounds good, but that hasn't happened. Since Trump became president, it's just been nothing but a widespread firing spree. So it should be no surprise that his job numbers are bad.
If tariffs were so good, why is he begging the Supreme Court not to say that they were illegal? Because he's talking about if you do this, we got to give the money back because the shit was just so bad for the economy.
Well, let me ask you, because MAGA still believes Trump is doing what's right financially. If the tariffs are that bad, why does MAGA see it so differently?
Because they believe everything that Trump says. Remember, MAGA says Trump is 6'4" and 240 pounds. No, I'm sorry, 230 pounds.
No, Trump says that. You don't think MAGA believes that, do you?
Yes, they believe that bullshit.
6'4", 230 pounds. Huh? Wow. I mean, listen, the guy is a superhero, I guess. I don't know. I don't get it, but
to them, yes, they believe they swear by that. That man can do no wrong, and he's one of the greatest businessmen ever. Even though most of his goddamn companies go bankrupt or default on their loans, and he's just the greatest thing since sliced bread.
I was told he's a great businessman. We need a president to run the country like a business. That's his job.
Out of all the businessmen, we choose the one with record breaker bankruptcies.
But he did have his hands in a lot of. He had his hands in a lot of fires. So I mean, a few companies go bankrupt, but I mean, he had a lot of companies out there.
He was a shotgun investor. He just threw money at. Well, he didn't even throw his money. He threw other people's money at shit to see what stuck, and barely anything stuck.
Well, he kept getting wealthier though. I mean, you don't think he was that bad?
No, hold on, wait. He didn't start really getting wealthy until this term here. He was losing money hand over fist and doing a lot of shit with credit. He wasn't sitting there making money like that.
Well,
he would have saved a lot more money before he was president. He would have saved a lot more money just sitting on that inheritance that he got and let that shit build with interest.
Well, how about this in the comments? Charlie says, "Are you ready for the collapse?" Kind of like, "Are you ready for some football? Are you ready for the? Do you see the country collapsing? You think Trump's financial management in this country is bad enough for it to collapse?
If things keep going the way it's going, I do see it collapse because what he's going to do, like especially this pushing to buck against NATO and things like that. We already are losing our trade partners because they're going to other countries to get the stuff that they used to get from us. Once he really does this stuff, they're gonna be like, you know what? We're not even going to give you shit no more. Like we're cutting you off. And once America gets cut off, we'll burn through our resources way faster than these MAGA folks think.
If it's going as bad as you're indicating, is there a point where you believe MAGA will see it exactly like you're talking? Because MAGA sees Trump as a success. You see him as directing us towards failure. Do you believe if it continues to go the direction you think it's going in, that MAGA will somehow, some way wake up and see things your way?
Once they like the maggots that you see on over the internet that are saying I lost everything, that's when they'll start saying like, oh,
damn,
I didn't know it was going to be this bad till it affects me. These are most of these people that are sitting there cheering and all that. They are the furthest away from the area that's being affected. That's why you see these MAGA folks cheering on him, talking about doing all these strikes and stuff like that. Remember when Biden and Obama was in, what's the first thing they were saying? We need to get out these countries. Why are we the world's police? Now they want us to be the world's police?
I don't get that. That is absolutely true. That a lot of things that Trump is doing, MAGA had a problem with it when it was being done by Biden or Obama. Absolutely. That was the whole campaign premise of Trump, is it was going to be time to get us out of these overseas wars and focus on taking care of Americans first. I don't see how this stuff is helping out America first.
And they talk about, and straight talking about, oh yeah, we're going to liberate these people and this people. Okay, if that's the case, why haven't we done more for Ukraine?
Picking and choosing. I think the answer is simple. The countries that are willing to let us exploit their resources are the ones that's going to get help. The Ukraine, I don't think the Ukraine wanted to give up their precious, what do you call it? Their whatever minerals, precious minerals or whatever.
No, it's not the ones that are willing to do. It's the ones that don't have the backing to fight back against us for it.
Okay.
Because if we try to pull this with Ukraine, Russia would have interceded and NATO would have interceded. Neither one of them would have allowed us to get that kind of a deal if we tried to do it by force. These other countries, they don't have that backing of someone just as powerful to say, no, U.S., you're not going to do this.
I want to ask you one more thing before I'm moving on from you. What is your opinion on the Monroe Doctrine that the U.S. should be able to oversee, if not control, everything in its hemisphere?
It's a bunch of bullshit. Like, they only say that because out of the Western Hemisphere, the only powerful nations is us, Canada, and Mexico. Everyone else doesn't have like the capabilities to do anything not like outside of their own borders.
Yeah. And you notice Canada and Mexico is not talking about any kind of doctrine where they should control everything at all.
No, they're not. They're not even thinking of doing anything outside their own nation.
Can we undo all of this damage that you're painting? I mean, you're making it sound like we're really causing a lot of damage with our allies and our position in the world. Is this something we can undo after Trump is out of office in a presidency or two?
It's going to take a long time to do it because it's not as easy as it is to break all the stuff to rebuild it. Because the first thing that's going to happen when he gets out of office is they're going to ask us, what are we going to do to make sure somebody like Trump doesn't come back ever again?
That's a hell of a question to ask. I mean, there would have to be a bunch of laws passed. All right, James, I got to move it on. But that is a hell of a question. There probably will be a huge apology tour, a la Obama's term that follows up, like the Hangover movie.
Obama and Biden's term. Obama and Biden's term. We had to do serious repairs with our allies because of what's been going on.
Yeah. We'll see, though. All right, James, thanks for coming through. Kind of like appreciate it. Kind of like the beginning of the movie. Remember the Hangover movie where it starts out and the guy's on the phone with his wife, honey, we fucked up. It's kind of like that, where you got to call your allies and let them know you fucked up. That's a great point to be made, though, is that how do I know that if we're willing to forgive and forget what happened in your country between 2024 and 2028, how do we know you may not elect another guy like that in the future that threatens our sovereignty and, indicates that even our alliance with you is irrelevant, breaks deals and things like that? How do we know? And that's what I'm saying is I think that we'll have to put some meat on the bread and show them we're doing things. Otherwise, what could happen? During World War II, Germany had all of the military might. It was the mightiest country on earth. After being defeated, and it obviously took a lot of countries to defeat the Germans, including us, Russians, and most of Europe, not to mention countries in Africa, everybody had to fight to take down the mightiest superpower on earth. What do we end up doing? Making it so they could not have a military for the foreseeable future, because you guys don't know how to handle being a superpower. So now that we've taken you down, we're not going to risk letting that shit happen again. We'll protect you, but I don't want to hear about you trying to develop a military anytime soon. You don't seem to know what to do with the power. We did that to Japan as well, because they also had a mighty navy and a mighty military that they used to turn on everybody. And once they were defeated, the same story was told to them. You don't know how to handle power. We'll provide some military protection, but we don't want you having anything, because if you get too powerful, you start fucking with people. That could happen to us. Just want to let you guys know that with us boasting that we got this, imperial superpower status that nobody can fuck with us, if for some reason it go down like that, we're not going to walk out of that still being a superpower with a huge military. That shit's going to be over with. That's going to be over with. For the simple fact is, y'all don't know how to handle being a superpower. You guys get out of hand with shit. Suddenly you're telling everybody else they ain't worth a damn and you don't need anybody. And you start attacking folks. So understand if it really goes down and it takes a whole pile of nations to calm us down, that's the output, is you don't get to have a military of any significance anymore because you don't know how to handle it. Kind of like what my last caller was saying, what are you going to do to guarantee we're not putting, you guys don't elect another Trump in the past? I brought this up with the Iran deal. President Trump gets elected for his first term, 2016, and immediately gets out of the deal that Obama made with Iran, something that MAGA cheered on, suggesting that it was a dumb deal that Obama got us in to begin with. Fair enough, even if it's a dumb deal, it's a deal that America signed on a dotted line. It just happened to be America under Obama. Trump comes along, it's a dumb deal, we're not even going to honor it. The problem is, by doing that, you show the world that America's word is only as good as the current president. The next guy doesn't like the deal I make with you, he may just get out of it. Trump has shown us that we can't trust any deal we make with you beyond the guy I'm making it with, which is why I was completely against Trump breaking the deal. Trump could be right. It could be a bad deal. But at the end of the day, if you sign on a dotted line to make a deal, you honor that deal. You don't just break the deal. I mean, it's like, I always use the example, you go to an auto dealer and the owner of the dealership is not there, but his wife is behind the desk, and she sells you a Cadillac for 5-10 grand below sticker price. You purchase the Cadillac, pay in cash, and drive home. The next day, the husband is in your driveway with a tow truck. I want my car back. My wife made a dumb deal with you. Would you ever do business with that dealership again? You did everything right. You paid the asking price that the wife, who had full authorization to run the shop, gave you. Husband comes along, my wife made a dumb deal with you, I want the car back. You would never do business with that company again. To me, that's the position President Trump has put us in. Would never make, I would not, that would be the first thing I would ask any U.S. president is, what do you have to give me to show me that the next president won't do exactly what Trump did? How do I know that I'm making a deal with you that the next president may not just view as a dumb deal and say he's not going to honor it? This deal may only be as good as how long you're in office. So I really think that President Trump hurt the honor and the word of America by doing that. Even if you think he is right that it's a dumb deal, I believe he hurt America's word by doing it. Anyway, looking in the comments, he tried everything in his power to remove anything Obama did. That is true, But when it comes to breaking deals, that's not the way to do it. That's to me, I think that's a terrible way to do that. With the largest proven oil reserves in the world, Venezuela could act as an energy supply backstop. What else does the rest of that say? Helping stabilize prices and protect U.S. energy security long term. Here's the problem. All of these countries we're taking over and all, we're looking at this shit on how it can benefit us. We don't give a damn about the people in those countries. We're not taking control of Venezuelan oil to benefit the Venezuelans at all. It ain't got nothing to do with them. We're looking at it as to how can this benefit us? Same thing with Greenland. Same thing with the rare earth minerals of the Ukraine. We're not doing any of this stuff to benefit the people in those countries. And they know it. They know it. And that's where the terrorism and all the other stuff comes in, gets involved. Is because you go into a country, you pilferage it for its resources, and you leave the people there probably just as bad off, if not worse, before you got there. There's no benefit in what we're doing for Venezuela's not going to become a mecca for tourism and all kinds of greatness because we're going to go in Venezuela and secure the area around those oil bases. The rest of that country can continue being ghetto, run down, and impoverished as shit. We don't have any. It's almost like when the casinos in America. I know a lot of you folks, Gen Xers and even some of you millennials remember once casinos started spreading around America beyond just Las Vegas. A lot of these impoverished towns were told, if you allow us to open up a casino, it'll bring all kinds of money into town. It'll be great for the town. And you've seen it happen, and those towns have not benefited. What they do is they provide a little bit of upkeep around the area in that town where the casino is. The rest of that town, they don't give a shit about it. They don't do a damn thing for the rest of the town. Now, I'm from Chicago, Gary, Indiana, in those areas. Hammond, Indiana is a perfect example, but you may know these places in your neck of the wood. Poor towns that were convinced if you allow us to open up a casino, it'll bring a ton of money and it'll really make this town boom. No, it doesn't. They open up a casino in a fucking hotel and they provide a little bit of security within a couple blocks radius of that. And the rest of that town, they don't give a fuck about. They don't give a shit about the rest of that town. And that's what will happen with Venezuela and the rest of these countries we're going in. We'll do a little bit around the oil plant to make sure our interest is secure. You get a mile or two away from that oil plant and it'll be just as decrepit and impoverished as normal. We won't give a shit about the rest of those areas. So the idea that that's going to happen, there's no historical precedent of it ever taking place. So if they want to believe it and they don't want to talk to other countries that we've entered, good luck with that. Looking in the comments, he's exposing how you guys felt so long. And wait a minute, he is exposing how you guys felt so long. And now that he's doing exactly what you wanted to do, now you're saying it's wrong. You think that the liberals wanted to take over Venezuela, Greenland, bomb and save Nigeria, Christians in Nigeria? You think the liberals wanted to do that stuff? I don't see any evidence to suggest that the liberals ever wanted to do any of this stuff. Blowing up boats off the coast of Venezuela, the liberals ain't never tried to do any of that. Don't know where you're getting that from. Well, newsflash, y'all been getting your way for hundreds and hundreds of years, and now Trump said, no way. Who is y'all? What are you saying, that Trump is different from every other president? Y'all been getting y'all way for hundreds of years, and so Trump is somehow different. I don't understand where you're going with that. Everyone's family was an immigrant at one point here in the United States. Indians, Mexicans were the indigenous people here, Polynesians and Africans that came way before the Spaniards. True. I don't know who the fuck y'all is either, business. I don't know. Do people think that other countries just let people walk in whenever they want? No, they don't, Nikki. The belief is that America is so powerful, we can do whatever the hell we want without any resistance. That's how MAGA sees it, is that America has become so powerful that we can literally just take over any country and they're kind of powerless to stop it. That's what many of my viewers have said tonight, and I think that's where they're going with it. Anyhow, folks, I appreciate the 143,000 in the likes department. Some of you folks helped your boy out with the TikTok cap goal. Thank you very much for the support. A little bit of support, not as much, but a little bit. I do appreciate that, and thank you guys for helping out with the program. We're here most weeknights. If you're currently watching us live on Instagram, TikTok, or Facebook, follow the program. If you're watching us live on YouTube, give us a sub. We will be on most weeknights as usual, including tomorrow night. Thank you there, D. I can't see the rest of that name. I'm really getting some bad eyesight with these little letters. Defining D. Thank you. Appreciate the support. Appreciate the love. Same with you, Lewis. Shout out to you. Holla back. Stop saying that's how MAGA sees it. Every freaking president in the last 40 years have done the same exact thing you were complaining about right now. Seriously, just stop it. I don't see Obama. I don't see. Let me see. Carter didn't take over any countries. There's a whole bunch of presidents that didn't do that shit. Obviously, George W. Bush with the Iraq War is going to be in play. Obama didn't take over any countries. When Obama became president, we had an Iraq and Afghanistan war already going on. He got us out of Iraq, and the Afghanistan war continued on. Obama didn't take over any countries. Obviously, President Trump's first term, he didn't take over any countries. Biden didn't take over any. What are you talking about? And what President Trump is doing right now, there hasn't been many presidents out of the 40-some-odd presidents we've had in the past that is doing that. Bombing 8 countries in less than a calendar year, that ain't normal. You're trying to suggest that somehow every president is that's not true. That is absolutely not true. I don't know. It's time to go back to watching Nickelodeon channel and let the adults in the room continue the conversation. Says who said that? Joel or something like that? Well, if you learn more on Nickelodeon, go with that blue one with the Galaxy Blue One Banks. Thank you. Shout out to you. Thank you for your support. Appreciate that, Blue One Banks. Another pewing in Minnesota. Another one bites the dust. Are you saying that ICE? I haven't heard this. Are you saying that ICE shot somebody else again? Somebody let me know that in the comments. Somebody let me know that. Is somebody saying that ICE? Did ICE pop somebody else again? 5 minutes ago. I haven't seen this. I'll see if I can. I want to hear from somebody in the comments. I'll bring them up real quick. Did I shoot somebody in Minnesota again? Shot in the leg, somebody said. King, yeah. Good evening. Have you heard about this?
So, yes, I have.
What happened?
They went over north. They went over north into North Minneapolis. They said that they were going into somebody's house that they had a warrant for, which was a complete lie because most of the people in North Minneapolis are black people. They ain't got no immigration warrant for no black person over there. They went into somebody's house, tried to pull them out. Two of the people that live in, or one of the people that live in the house came out with a shovel and knocked somebody upside their head with it, knocked one of the officers upside the head with the shovel. Another neighbor came out with his rake and shit, and they attacked ICE. And one person got shot in his leg, and the ICE agent ended up shooting. I think he ended up shooting himself in the leg. Somehow, either way it goes, the ICE agent and the person that attacked him are in the hospital right now. So yeah, they did just shoot somebody.
And you raise a good point. Most black people don't have. Ain't no immigration warrant for nobody black. Yeah,
but see that this is the problem. They're over in the area that they really don't know. They're a couple of doors down from people who really do have the same shit they got. So what they need to be worrying about ain't a rake or a shovel. It's one of them streets.
But King, they so fucking deep. You really think people gonna risk pulling out firearms on ICE? They coming so. I mean, I'm hearing Mayor Fry said in some cases it's 50 people arresting one person.
Yeah, it can be 50 people, but what you really forget is it can be 50 people with one bullet for each person.
You're not gonna take on 50 motherfuckers and invest with guns, are you?
Northwell, bro, you're talking about people, the same people 6 months ago. They stole the Bearcat and beat the hell out of ICE so bad that the MPD had to go over south and get their ass out of there. You really think it won't happen?
To me, this is Gestapo type shit. What did Christy Nome just say? One of ours, all of yours. If somebody does that, they just gonna show up the next day with hundreds of ice.
They can keep doing that, but the problem that they come into is they're gonna run into the right people at the wrong time because everybody ain't as civil and everybody ain't fucking weak.
Well, I can tell you one thing. People can say that it ain't happening. This is why I strongly disagree with the notion that the Second Amendment prevents tyranny. ICE is having no problem roaming around amongst armed Americans doing whatever the hell they want. There's plenty of firearms in Minnesota, I'm sure. And ICE is having no problem going in people's cribs without warrants. They yanking people out of cars. They're as tyrannical as you can come. And they're doing it amongst an armed society and getting away with it.
Yeah, well, I'm telling you now, where the problem is going to come in at is that somebody is not going to be willing to sustain or abstain with the bullshit that they're doing, and they're going to open up. Like right now, they're on CNN showing look like about 100 people. But what they
I don't think the Trump administration cares. I don't think the Trump administration cares if a few ICE agents lose their lives in the process. The end goal is going to be submission.
And this is what I'm telling you. In this same area that they're running into, that they think they're doing something, the same area, I can bet you at least more than 25 houses that are right around them have something in there big, just like they got on their fucking arm. So they might want to really be careful about where they think they're going. Right now, they're flashbanging a church.
To me, I think, listen, I don't want to downplay anybody's ability to defend themselves, but I think it's a lot of talk. It's just like in Chicago when Trump was threatening to send in the National Guard. You had gangbangers talking about they had switches and they could handle them. And when the National Guard and all them got there, they were able to do whatever the hell they wanted to.
But didn't the Latin Kings run their ass up off their block?
I don't know.
I'm just saying.
They didn't go to Chicago anywhere near as deep as they are in Minnesota.
That's because they think Minnesota is a bunch of Somalian people. But I can tell you it's not.
I mean, them motherfuckers in Minnesota are deep. We're talking they got 5 times more ICE than they do sworn officers.
And what they keep forgetting is they're in a city of millions. Keep believing that shit's sweet over here. It ain't.
Well, I think a lot of you guys are probably MAGA too, ain't you? There's some MAGA in Minnesota.
No. See, you got to confuse. Minneapolis is blue.
Okay.
MAGA is out in Red Wing and up north in the Iron Belt. The motherfuckers don't come over here, right?
Shit,
they're down south.
If Trump said ICE needs some help, I need some patriots to come down to Minneapolis, you'd have a whole bunch of pickup trucks and your shit within minutes.
Personally, first of all, you can stop calling them patriots. They're fake triots.
I'm just telling you what Trump calls them. If Trump said I need some patriots to go down there and help our fellow brothers with ICE.
Not this funky orange regime.
Huh?
A real patriot is loyal to the flag and to the Constitution, not this funky orange regime.
I'm not arguing with that. But what I'm saying is that if Trump said our ICE is facing a little bit of trouble from these liberals, we need some patriots to go to Minneapolis, you would have people coming from South Dakota, North Dakota. You would have people coming from La Crosse and Wisconsin area.
Can't barely handle MPD. And you talking about we scared of them?
I didn't say you're scared. I'm saying you would have MAGA flooding your area.
Yeah, okay. MAGA can flood if they want to. They catch the same strays them ICE agents will. Flat out. Come on through. Catch some of them clips. Y'all talking about switches. Don't believe Minneapolis ain't got switches. Just because Prince came from Minneapolis don't mean it's sweet up here. Okay.
All I'm saying.
Androgynous. He might have been dressing in purple and androgynous, baby. But don't think them switches got a motherfucking male or female, because they don't.
I hear what you're saying, but my point I'm making is there's a lot of firearms amongst the citizens in Minnesota, and ICE has no problem doing whatever, yanking people out of cars and everything.
Tell you like this, you think Democrats don't know what a male and a female is? Bring them ICE agents up here with that bullshit and see when they get their dick shut off. Then they're gonna have to be the ones worried about who's.
They already in your town doing what they want to do,
and they worried because they're standing back. They're standing back right now on CNN. Check it out. So CNN right now, MPD got to come through and help their ass. Because ain't nobody playing with these punks.
It's your.
That's why you seen neighbors. That's why you seen neighbors jump out with shovels. Ain't nobody scared of these pussies.
Is the Minneapolis police working with ICE, helping them out?
No. Minneapolis police is out there to stop their ass. That's what I'm saying. ICE is standing back on the block. Minneapolis PD is coming through, telling them y'all need to get the fuck out the way.
What
y'all
kind
stop
of
playing with these people?
What kind of people?
MPD know what over north is. Okay, let's just go here. Minneapolis Police Department knows what's over north. They done had to deal with it. When the shit go down with the gangs and shit like that, they over north. MPD know what's happening.
How about this? In the comments, Greater Tomorrow says, we respect your bravado, and I do too, but you're not being realistic. In other words, ICE is so deep and heavily armed in your area. You can talk bravado, but for the most part, you can't do shit about them.
Yeah, okay. That's why people just ran out with shovels and rakes, right?
Against rifles?
So scared.
Against
So
rifles?
Rifles. Obviously, they're not scared enough, right?
I don't know. I'm telling you, King, I think Trump, if they run out with shovels and rocks and shit against ICE, I would not be surprised if Trump gave them the order to shoot.
Well, they already unalived a white woman. So, I mean, what does it matter now? Nobody give a shit. You already unalived a white woman. You unalived your own kind.
People that don't want to die give a shit.
Here's my psychology on all of this, right? ICE and MAGA is all the same. They have one of the three psychological problems, right? Either they have mommy problems, mommy didn't coddle them enough, or mommy rejected them, or they want to be women, or they're mad at women because a woman rejected them. Those are the three psychological problems to testify for MAGA, right? One of those things happen. You can tell, like, watch. If that wasn't true, why would they have been at a memorial and crashed Grindr, right? If that wasn't true, why are they mad at women? Why are they steadily, upset and hurting women, right? Their own women, even white women can get it, right? You see it on this app all the time. A woman stands up and says something, little MAGA got to jump up and say, oh, they get mad and hot and steamy and want to argue with a woman. Why? Because of one of those three psychological problems.
Yeah, in the comments, Money says feds confirm immigrant agent shot wounded man in North Minneapolis. So somebody has been wounded, but it doesn't.
Yeah, no, I told you it went down. Yeah, old boy came out with a shovel outside his house. The ICE agent feared for his life against a shovel, a snow shovel, because we're talking about Minneapolis. A plastic snow shovel.
He shot a plastic snow shovel upside the head that can do serious bodily harm.
A plastic snow shovel.
Yeah, if you get hit with the edge of a snow shovel across your neck, it can do some serious harm to you.
It's a plastic snow shovel.
And you don't think you could use wait, hold on. You don't believe you could use a plastic snow shovel to hurt a man at all?
I think the snow shovel will break before you hurt somebody with it. But that's beyond the point. The point of it is when did these tough MAGA guys become such snowflakes? They walking around with rifles and big, flashbangs and all of this shit. But my man's scared of a shovel.
Well, they're gonna use any excuse that they want.
It's a shovel.
And by the way, Luna's in the comments says, "Stop it, Tim. Makes me think you're getting paid to be obtuse." No, I'm not. I do feel like with a if somebody is swinging a shovel at you, not to mention a stick that's on it as well, you can beat the shit out of somebody with a plastic shovel.
Just tell them the truth, Tim. You know you be fluffing.
I will admit when I'm fluffing. I'm not fluffing about this one though. You can take a plastic shovel and beat the hell out of somebody with it.
I'm used to it now. I know you fluff and it's all good,
We're not fluffing at this time. At this time,
you wear the Bears jersey with all that orange on it, and you be looking like you was standing up under Trump with all that orange on. It's all good. I ain't mad at you. I know you fluff like that though.
All right. We'll leave it at that.
You ain't MAGA. You just fluff a lot.
Is that a song? Is that a song? I'm not MAGA. I just fluff.
I ain't MAGA. I just fluff a lot.
Shout out to Big Pun. Shout out to the late Big Pun. I got it moving on, man. I gotta put this shit up for the night. Get my ass.
Hey, man. I told you, man. MAGA. Y'all want a king? Elect me. I'm better for the presidency than that idiot. Flat out. And as always, stop the fucking fluffing, man. Stop the fluffing.
That's gonna be a hard sell. King Finn,
I'm out.
Thank you.
Peace.
Appreciate it. And by the way, folks, thank you for the 154. You guys, some of you guys are tapping the screen tonight. Thank you very much for that support. Follow the program. If you're watching us on Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok, give us a sub if you're watching on YouTube. Cry some more liberal tears, says and I think that's what MAGA really favors the most is the liberal tears. Because there is a lot of liberal tears. There are a lot of liberals that are upset with what Trump is doing. And MAGA likes the fact that he can do what he wants and the liberals can't stop it. That is the biggest benefit of Trump to MAGA. It ain't groceries. It ain't gas prices. It ain't making rent affordable. It ain't bringing up salaries. It ain't nothing that's really affecting the bottom line of MAGA. It's the fact that Trump is punishing the libs and other perceived enemies of MAGA, whether it is what he's doing to the immigrants that they may not favor, or making sure biological males can't play against girls in sports is something they don't favor. It's stuff like that. But in terms of what is it doing to put extra groceries in your house or food on your table, he ain't doing none of that stuff. They're celebrating President Trump bestowing misery upon their perceived enemies. He did promise to be the president of retribution. So, look, he promised it. They wanted it. They voted for him for it, and he's delivering. So, if that's what's making him happy, I can't argue with it. But in terms of him actually doing things that are beneficial for the country economically, that hasn't culminated yet. Maybe in the future, he still has 3 years left. But right now, economically, he hasn't done a lot for America at all. I want shit cheap. I don't give a fuck about his enemies. I want to be able to buy shit. Well, you're not getting that shit yet. The shit you're paying for is not making you happy. I sent my friend to the hospital because of a plastic shovel. Yeah, I'd have to see the plastic shovel that my last guest and many in the comments were suggesting that can't. If a shovel can hold a few pounds of snow, then it's strong enough to do damage to somebody. Yeah, you ever seen them really fat red bats? They're made out of plastic. You could beat the shit out of somebody with a plastic bat if you know how to use it right. But a shovel with the sharp edge, if you jam that in somebody's Adam's apple, there's a lot of things you could do with that shovel. The idea that you can't use a plastic shovel to hurt somebody seems a bit, yeah, that don't seem right. I think you can do a lot of damage with a plastic shovel if you know how to use it right. Actually, we are getting cheaper shit, not much, but definitely cheaper. Anybody saying separately, anybody saying, I guess you're saying anybody saying differently is a bold-faced liar. And I don't think they are. I don't think they are a bold-faced liar in the comments there. I think there's plenty of areas in this country where groceries have not went down. I'll tell you this. If groceries were down significantly, you would hear Trump bragging about that every day. Trump takes credit when he does things he thinks is beneficial to America. He often takes credit when he does things that, even when he don't do something, he'll take credit for it. You don't hear Trump and you don't hear the Trump administration bragging about reducing grocery prices much. I think during Thanksgiving, they tried to indicate that you could get a Thanksgiving dinner for 25, 30% less. Everybody knew that wasn't true. But outside of that, you don't hear Trump bragging about grocery prices coming down. So if he's not bragging about it, that's an indication that he don't even think it's happening, because he would certainly be bragging about that. I agree with you. They are not down by much, but they are down. I think it also depends on where you're at and what you're buying. Is beef, the price of a steak, down in your neck of the woods? I'm not seeing that. I think with the bird flu or whatever it was called under control, the price of eggs is down, but the price of groceries in general, I would say negligible at best. If you used to paying $200, $200 every couple of weeks for groceries under the Biden administration, you're probably not paying hardly any less than at least $190 under Trump. You may be paying $200 plus, but the price of groceries under Trump at best has come down negligible. It's not even enough to make a significant difference. I just don't see that. I'd have to know what part of the country you're in and likely what you're paying less for, because I don't think the price of beef has come down at all. In fact, a good steak now is quite fucking expensive. High prices are a left-wing hoax, according to Trump. He did say that affordability is a Democrat hoax. But when Biden was president, he was constantly talking about affordability. So some of the things some of the statements Trump makes, if you go back and look through history of statements he made in the past, you'll find out some of the stuff he's just changing the narrative because it's now being used against him. But it was okay when he was using it against others, like the Epstein files, for instance. That stuff was totally fine when it was being used against the Democrats. Now all of a sudden Trump is in power and it's being used against Trump, and suddenly it's okay not to be transparent if you want to protect unknown people that's on the list. That would have never been accepted from a Democrat saying that. Well, I don't want to tell you everything because I want to protect some people that's on the list. They would have never accepted that. Jose, Life on Mars, says Pee Wee Herman would be an ideal God king for MAGA tards. I've never heard that term before. MAGA tards, as they could include grinding out in movie theaters alongside the RNC event. Now we know that the Grinder app got crashed in places that MAGA showed up, the Charlie Kirk Memorial and shit like that. He's comparing it to Pee Wee Herman because Pee Wee Herman got caught jagging out. The late Pee Wee Herman, that guy's passed on, but he got caught jagging off in a movie theater. Jesus, Jose. That's bad. That's real bad. Why do I support Trump? I'm not a supporter of Trump. I'm not a hater of Trump. I believe there's legitimate reasons to vote for Trump, but I also believe there's legitimate reasons to vote against Trump. Depends on what your politics are. But I favor a few things that Trump is not in favor of, and that would cause me not to support. In fact, my main reason for not supporting Trump is he campaigned on giving police immunity from prosecution in liberal cities. A lot of folks said that he was not going to do that and he only meant qualified. I don't know. He didn't clear it up. He just said he was going to do it. And by the way, ICE is kind of living that life almost. ICE is only one step below having immunity from prosecution. I could easily see ICE getting that. So when he started talking about giving police immunity from prosecution in liberal cities where I live, I didn't give a shit about the economy or any of that other stuff. That's enough. It's just like to a Second Amendment supporter. If you start talking about taking away gun rights, they don't give a shit about the economy or anything else you're promising. When you start talking about doing something like that, it ends there. When he started talking about giving police immunity from prosecution, that was it for me. And I had went to a couple of Trump rallies, but that I can't turn a blind eye to that because I know people like me are going to be the primary recipients of bad behavior from that. So the minute he said that kind of was a deal breaker for me. Reagan's God bless you. I got God on my side, and there's no one more powerful than him. So you don't scare me. Well, the problem with this God stuff is believers in God believe that God gives us all free will. So you can have God on your side and not be scared of anyone. But if you're going to be willing to admit God gives people free will, and that includes free will to do bad things, you might not be scared of somebody that still may walk up and kill you. Remember, God gives them free will, so he ain't going to stop them. He might welcome you on into the kingdom after you get sliced up, but just know you died a brave man. But he gives them free will, so you don't have to be scared. A lot of people have died a horrible death while not being scared. I like this show too, but he sure does have some real degenerates on the phone sometimes. This is a free speech program, so you're going to hear opinions from all sides of the aisle, which means you're going to hear opinions you disagree with, some opinions you do agree with. I appreciate those who tune in daily when we're on, and I don't turn down anyone for their opinion, whether I agree, disagree, or they're critical of me. And I would suggest that if you favor echo chambers, listen, if you lean left and you want to hear a program where everybody's bashing Trump and calling him a racist, or you like Trump and you want a program where everybody on the program is wearing a red hat, as much as I favor you guys watching me, this ain't the program for you. You're going to hear everybody here, and everybody's going to be allowed to speak. If you want to hear only people with your predominant opinion being allowed to speak, and everybody that disagrees with you is an idiot, that's not this program. That is not this program. You're going to hear opinions coming from all sides of the aisle being allowed to speak without any censorship. So everybody don't like that. I get it. Everybody don't like it. This program ain't for everybody. Unless you favor zero censorship, then you're in the right place. And that's why I always say if you favor zero censorship, follow the program, you're in the right place. Anyhow, appreciate you guys tuning in. We certainly will be on tomorrow. I'm going to be on the West Coast, but we're going to still be on live. Thank you guys for following the program. I'll see you then. You guys take care and have a good night. I got a plane to catch in the morning, so I'm out. Talk to you.